Oh yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Ooh, the goodies in there. Which one was that one? Oh god, that's pretty old.
Look at all the back burner stuff we never did.
Oh yeah, look at
Can you hear me now? Love your windows. Okay, let's recap everything. You've got my face today because I thought when I'm looking at the game and just talking for 3 hours, there's something more interesting than just the game. Okay, good. Thanks, Mini. I should put that chat always visible.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. I accidentally showed our trailer. I mean, it's fine. There's nothing secret here anymore because the game is out.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, well done, Saltmines. You made it into our reference images. We never ended up making a prototype portal gun. We ended up making a red portal
No.
gun.
I didn't want to make any more. I was
Yeah.
so burnt out.
Yeah.
I just,
We were very
Two is enough
inspired by
Yeah.
things like the gravity gloves and the like prototype VR headsets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Would've
we
been
ended
cool.
up making this, yeah. Great signage. Yeah, I never did that. All right, I'm actually in Hammer right now. I fixed some bugs in this map that I noticed in the playthrough. Hammer stream. I'm gonna open the game in a second. Don't worry. I just want to say that I've been thinking of whether it would make sense to sort of, because like we shipped the game and then we went through a few maps and fixed mainly bugs, right? But it didn't really change gameplay or any of that sort of stuff. So I've been thinking of
Yeah.
whether it would make sense for us to make like sort of a definitive edition, however you want to call it, where we would go through and like update some maps, improve some puzzles, make some puzzles harder. There's also the thought of like updating Act 4 to be a bit longer, but that is like extra content. I'm not sure about that because that would need, you know, new voiceover and stuff like that. So, but I think we could definitely do like a polishing pass,
That's
just
stuff we never got to
updating,
add.
adding. Yeah, I mean we could do that as well. It is just a question of scope, right? I don't want to go too far
Yeah.
here, but I think it would be nice to maybe change some puzzles, right? Especially some of like. I talked about this to Ace. By the way, can you two read the chat and see if there's any questions in there?
Oh yeah.
So I don't. Like, I'm also checking chat, but I just don't want to miss anything.
Someone
Like-
asked, what was your first experience with using Strata Engine?
Strata.
Yeah.
So back then it was called Chaos Source, or it was actually just the P2C engine, right? So I co-founded P2C with Alex and Ethan, and I don't work on that anymore. Alex doesn't either anymore, I think. But
Correct.
yeah, like the story is. I mean, I told the story in the talk as well. But basically, like I always wanted code for Revolution, right? So I can make cooler things. And then Alex said, in thinking with Portal's Discord, "Hey, I just got my NDA from Valve to get a license." And I was like, "How did you do it?" So I immediately, had to befriend him. Had to say, "Hey, guy, come on, share me the secrets," because none of the licensees ever talked. And then he told me what he did, and then I actually got a bit successful, and then. Things slowed down again, and we talked to Valve back and forth for like a year until we actually got code. So we basically teamed up to get code together. And then I also really liked the idea of P2C and thought, hey, I can make things for P2C and then use them in my own game as well, right? Which is what I did, right? Like all of the things that I programmed for Revolution are in P2C. Mostly all of them. At some point we branched. But they can, like P2C has our code, they can take anything you want, right?
Yeah. Do they implement the volumetrics yet?
I don't think so.
No,
No.
I don't believe so.
Nah.
I think they have their own better stuff in the works or whatever. I haven't talked to them about
Alright.
this, but like there's the clustered render and all of that. I'm not sharing secret stuff. God. But yeah, this puzzle, for example, is just an introduction that these can also push and not only pull, right? But then we don't really elaborate on it further. We don't build on this. So this has always been one of the areas where I thought this could need some. Either this puzzle becomes more difficult somehow, or we add a new puzzle or something, right? But I'm just thinking of whether it would make sense to have a sort of definitive, like 2.0 version maybe, where we just give everything a bit more. Because I think we were already really tired of working on this after the launch, because we crunched on this for months.
I haven't
Months
touched
and months,
Hammer.
and then we were all kind of just, finally, I didn't want to do anything. But now we've all kind of had our
yeah.
break, and we can, at least I feel a bit better about going back and maybe changing some things again. I think it could be really fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, after I fixed like those hundreds and hundreds of bugs post-launch, I also got very burnt out, but not out of Hammer, thankfully.
That's good.
Just out of working on Revolution. But I think I'm ready to go back.
What I don't understand this chat right now. I think I'm out of the loop. Okay, so yeah, let's just open the game, and let's actually just load from the menu. So yeah. Bonus maps not connected to the lore. I don't know. I don't see how they would fit. Like, I don't know what the bonus maps would be. Ace and I, we had this idea for years. We wanted to make a sort of a co-op
Oh yeah.
map where one player
yeah,
is
so
the test subject and the other one is a core. And
Yeah, it was gonna be for like a TWP like contest, but that
Never
sort
got
of
it.
idea not feasible within Portal 2.
yeah, like Portal 2 engine just doesn't work with that at all. It was just so limiting. I kind of just gave up and said maybe we could do this, once Forever comes out as an extra campaign, but I don't know.
I still think I
That's
still
not the
feel like I
surface.
think it'd be fun to do.
Is the
It.
elevator
I think it would be
stop?
fun to do, but it's so much, such
A lot of work.
I'm working on my next prototypes and stuff. Yeah, but I think it could be cool to improve on the existing game, add improve some puzzles, some chambers, bug fix is always possible, right? And stuff like that. Okay. So yeah, this is something that I thought I always think is quite nice when you come back to old areas that you have been, and here we ride the exact same elevator to surface.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And if you remember where you've been before, right, you can immediately tell that this is where you are again.
Oh, I found you.
Who's that now?
His choreo is broken again. I don't know why this
Where
happens.
that
It's such a
teleporter
stupid
could've
bug.
left you. At least he didn't suffocate on a wall,
Jared.
so that's good.
It just breaks sometimes. It doesn't animate.
Why don't you come back and join me here in the spire? Charging up the teleporter as we speak to continue
Keep like
our
a distance
mission,
thing, like
you
a
so rudely.
Optimization.
Hmm?
The core, yeah. Because I swear like animations stop playing after like a certain distance.
Hello?
I don't think that's it. Oh, hey, Jared. How are you doing?
Okay. Yeah, my mic wasn't working.
No, because it worked before. Like it worked. It worked like most of the time in
It
development.
works randomly and
then it
sometimes
just
not.
stopped.
No, this is random.
I've seen
it's fully random. I can restart the map
I've
a few
seen it.
times and it works and it doesn't. It works and it doesn't.
I don't know how to work. Always thought it's been.
I debugged this in the edit in VS Code, in Visual Studio.
I've seen it not work more times than I've seen it work.
Yeah, it's completely random. I debugged this a bit and I think it's just some memory mismanagement shit. It doesn't know who the actor is sometimes. Because if you have two characters in a scene, it just breaks sometimes. It's
Interrupted.
What mission?
Oh, who's your little sidekick? Cute. You can join us if you want.
Join you? With what?
We just want to repair the facility. I will pick up the remains of our former central core, reassemble her, and bring her back to life.
Wait, who are you talking about? Are you talking about GLaDOS? You want to bring back GLaDOS?
That's what the humans call her, yes.
Whoa. And that is why you gotta switch your capacitors.
explosion is so
So
random.
that's the sort of guys
Yeah,
you
we
normally
originally were gonna have it
work
like teleport
Did
something
you
in and that would
work
break the
with
glass.
him?
Like that
Oh,
would
yeah.
debris.
Yeah, but
Did that.
let's jump back a second. This whole recording this scene. Sarah is in Australia. Will is in USA. I'm
yeah.
in Europe. So we all had to get together to record a session, right? And you have someone from every 8-hour interval time zone basically. So somebody had I had to be there at 4 in the morning, recording until 7 in the morning.
Awful.
Yeah, but it was worth it. We recorded all of the VO for that needed both characters at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, let's try on to face stalling. Could do that, but then you wouldn't see any facial expression anymore. And also, if you look away, then it doesn't make sense anymore, right? It's something that I considered, but it makes more sense for her to just sort of look at look at you to have the facial expression. Yeah. But yeah. Originally we wanted to have in Act 4 that the Spire would be already enabled, and it would have these random eruptions, and things would get teleported into the facility sort of at random, and it would take a piece of a test chamber, put it there, right, and maybe remove a wall and stuff like that. I wanted,
Nice.
yeah, the original idea was to have Act 4 like that, so it's a bit more dynamic and dangerous and random, sort of hyping up towards the end. But first of all, the effects work of that, it wasn't just time, it was actually just a decision. The effects work for that is a thing that you have to put in, right? And I don't know how it could have looked. It's just a lot of work to do that stuff. And also, we then changed the story that the Spire is deactivated and Sterling is powering it up in the background. He's stealing resources from the bottom. So that didn't make narrative sense anymore. So now it's that he basically just invites you back in, and Act 4 is a lot more chill than it was before, right? Because Ava and I, we made a competition entry called what's it? Surface Meltdown, which was like a style guide. It was like a style guide for Act 4, which was a lot more rocky and earthy and natural. But yeah, it then became a lot more chamber focused. I really like how this looks at night though. The thing with designing things for night is you don't really have reference for how things should look, right? Because in Portal 2 there is no nighttime overgrown, so you have to look at like what do we take as reference, right? So I just looked at a bunch of art pieces and stuff, and it's really difficult because you want the player to see things, but on the night it's dark. So, right, so what do you do? You can have a lot of artificial lights, but yeah, we ended up just making the moon way stronger than it should be, right? Like the moon would never be this bright here. This is completely unrealistic, but it just looks okay somehow.
Even Arisen asked for the definitive edition, would we consider adding more quantum cube puzzles?
That, like, if we were to add new puzzles, that would be one thing where we should probably like double the amount of puzzles there, yeah. But for that, we would also need to add so much new choreo. So it's just a big ask, right, of our voice actors, of music producer that we have here, Jared.
If we do do that though, we could probably make the transition between Sterling sort of quote-unquote training you maybe a bit smoother.
Yeah.
Because it will have more time to sort of
that is something
map it out.
Would definitely work on that as well. Yeah, we could definitely talk about if we want to make an update to Act 4. To also improve some of the story. Yeah, this scene you built this initially, Monty.
Yeah, I did.
This scene has been a nightmare to work on because we have 4 copies of the same map. And every time it's a bit different, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 years I think. We're just back and forth, like just constant changing, and it was never looked right to me. Even like now, I feel like I could just make it slightly better. But
I think it looks best in the ending of Sunset, just because that's like Sunset always looks good, right?
Oh yeah, it always does. It's hard to It's annoying because you know.
Yeah, it's also difficult because right, the stars are like the space.
Yeah.
The void is way too bright. It should just be dark, but we're sort of emulating some fog in the air or some.
Yeah,
because if you just make it fully dark, it just looks terrible.
Yeah.
Because you have no sense of depth.
No depth.
Yeah. But then also when you look up, this doesn't work. It's really difficult because you're balancing realism and artistic intent, right?
Yeah.
And with the night sky, it turned out to be a real challenge to balance this, right? So yeah, that scene, we don't have both of these characters interacting with each other for like most of the game, right? And then they finally talk to each other. And originally, these two would actually meet in Act 3, and they would like always talk, and I couldn't write them to shut up because these two characters are complete polar opposites, right? And they have so much history and everything together that it would not make sense for them to just sit in silence and stare at each other while the player is solving a puzzle or something. And it was also just awkward to have 2 cores that is like, one is supposed to be the antagonist and one is supposed to be sort of the companion to be with you all the time. So that was scrapped. That was changed. So you would only meet Sterling after Act 3. And then, yeah, this scene, I had to blow up the monitor because otherwise I couldn't get them to shut up, right? Just had to, I thought of ways, like, how could I stop this conversation? Well, I could just, at first I wanted to have, like, the transmission is interrupting as the spy is teleporting things here, and it would, like, teleport this truss here, and this would cause the glass to break, right? That was the original
main idea.
Yeah, that was their first intent there. When we then removed the random teleportations, I thought, well, how else would the glass break and the conversation stop, right? So my idea was, well, let's just have the computer blow up, and that turns off the transmission and also breaks the glass next to it, right?
2 for 1.
Completely stupid idea, but it... yeah. Yeah, with the little capacitor choke from Conley, because that is like the only electrical component that could realistically blow up.
Oh, I shouldn't have looked.
Here again, we're emphasizing that Conley is human. We're displaying her fears, right? Her fear of heights, which has been established many times before.
Yeah.
Her fear of darkness and stuff like that. Originally wanted to have her like say that she's gonna close her eye the entire way through, but that just didn't work for engine limitations.
I love it.
So now it's just she looks down here, which I think works just fine because there was so much choreo here. She would say the capacitor line, then she would say, "That's the sort of guys you normally work with," which is like a I don't know how I would imagine girls talk about boys. I guess I have little experience being a woman, and then she would talk about being afraid of that. So, but during all of those lines, you could already walk through. So we had cases where she would talk about being afraid of the pit while we were already in here. So just move that stuff, yeah.
Top that off.
But I find this is really cool, right? Because you're coming to this place, and originally in Act 2, you could look out the window and stuff, but you're walking another way. And now you can like break free through here and explore this part. I always liked that, but it's a nightmare to
Solid ground at
manage.
Put me on the rail over there. I'll open the door for you.
We should probably remove this door. I don't know why I even added this, because it's not needed, right? There's nothing behind here. But so many people think that she will open this door.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, right? And I don't... Like, this doesn't have any... There's no point to this. I think it's just the original layout I had for the offices.
I feel like if you put rubble behind it, it would help.
I think it should just be removed.
It looks.
just
I think
like
it helps.
see.
Looks nice.
It looks
you
nice,
should
but
write, like-
but it like it has gameplay negative aspect, right? It prevents gameplay. To prevent.
Just like put a chain on it and write "Do not open" dead inside.
That's more work.
Yeah, no
Could
effect.
just remove it,
Wow.
or make it more visibly broken, whatever, right? But
Just put a bunch of rubber behind it, like a bunch of steel beams, whatever.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it would.
This is an interesting area because this has a test chamber sign, but it's actually in front of an elevator, so it makes no
Right,
sense.
So you're
Maybe it's,
the
just,
one
maybe
who
it's like
activated
backwards.
the
Like, it's supposed to
spy.
come out this way.
I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, but it's
That was
it
my
doesn't matter.
interpretation.
Hmm?
That was- my
Oh,
interpretation
you're
was
going
like-
in the in
Yeah, opposite direction. Doesn't really make sense because the doors flip around, but
Yeah, but if you
That's
flip the
fine.
doors, players would be confused even more.
yeah.
Because you never enter a door from the behind.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. The elevator bit is here, interesting. Yeah, I thought about adding some combine stuff, but was just too much of at the same time, right? Because I didn't know, like, if we added combine, we would have to have some way that it would fit into the story. Otherwise, it's just this peripheral thing that doesn't have any impact on the game, which is just there, which confuses and it's just unnecessary. So it would have had to play into that a bit somehow, and I didn't know how it could. It would have been cool to have some combat infrastructure, but also, making those assets, because if you just take Portal half of 2 assets, those look pretty crappy
Weird.
next to
Yeah.
Portal 2 assets. Yeah, so that was just cut.
Does the Portal 2 engine even like support NPCs walking around? I thought they removed that after the first game.
In Revolution, we
It
have
doesn't,
it.
but Strata does.
Yeah.
I see.
Roberts could defend the player. That's another game, okay? That's a completely other pitch of a game. That is not Port Revolution. You can do that in Revolution, though. You can say... actually, not Revolution. In P2C, you can do it. P2C has all of the House of 2 NPCs. I removed them in Revo because they spammed the console with errors.
Is he really trying to bring back GLaDOS? He's right about one thing, though. The facility is already barely holding together, and that won't change unless we put someone in charge of the central core. But why her? Why doesn't he just take the crown for himself?
Yeah, this was like the first map that I made Nighttime Overgrown. And there was originally a light here, like an orange light that would light up just a bit more to have, because I thought I would have to have way more artificial lights. But
The
it's
light in the light relay for that whole light sequence still does exist, I believe.
actually that light.
Just never gets triggered.
I think it's actually this light up here.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
just disabled it, yeah.
Yeah, but the whole sequence for turning it on still exists. It just never gets triggered.
Yeah. It just
I
turned
know
out
because I saw
to be
it
better
once
if
when
it's
I
just
worked on
blue.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too noisy otherwise.
Yeah. It already looked great. I do have some like artificial lights, some places. I like doing this. It's nice shadow detail. Yeah, this is I really like this because this is one of those sort of course maps where you have multiple small chambers one after the other rather than one big chamber, which is great for introduction stuff. And here you can actually see the last chamber where you will be going, which I think is really nice. And also just glass and windows just look good, right? If you don't look at what's behind it, it's just more interesting than a wall. Right? I always try to find these little moments of how you can restructure the architecture to be a bit more interesting, a bit more interconnected, rather than just... I could have just put the elevator right here, right? And you walk in, you have this sign, and you walk in. Like, functionally it's the same, but this just adds a bit more, because it is the first time you see a nighttime overgrown chamber. So I just wanted to have this first little moment here, which is really like one of the most decorated overgrown areas that we have. It stops pretty abruptly up above here, but that's fine.
It's always been a trouble. These ones.
It's always
Admittedly,
balanced.
players don't look up.
Yeah.
That's also the thing, right? Like, how much time do you invest on things above, and most players don't even look up. And here, there's a lot of focus on things that are down below that I not see many players look up here anyway. And I mean, functionally it's fine, right? It's just you could, like, as a developer, you always think, how could I add more to it? Right? But most players who look up won't even see anything wrong there. And honestly, there isn't anything wrong with it. It's just as us developers, we always want to add more.
Yeah.
But this is where the CSM really shines.
Oh yeah, definitely. Could do this in
And how
regular Portal.
it interacts with the props, yeah. Really like this.
Yeah, also SB2G asked, assuming bonus maps are in scope, could community create puzzles with Revo mechanics be considered? I think that'd be cool. So
We thought about that for a competition, I think.
Yeah.
We think about doing a mapping competition, and like considering, hey, if your map is good enough, it could be added into Portal Revolution.
Like
but we'll have to see about that. Yeah. I still want to do the comp. It's just kind of been pushed back because I'm working. I have a job now, and yeah. Jared, we have music here, and I really like this track.
All of
Oh
it is
yeah.
good.
How do you approach this?
I made it sad.
I think I sort of Was it me? I think I wanted to add some like Half-Life Alyx sort of alien-esque elements here, because I wanted to sort of, when the original idea was also that the Spire would teleport things, right? I wanted this whole feeling of unnatural sort of things are happening, things are teleporting in ways they shouldn't. It's really dangerous. And then this element here also plays to that, right? Because it's this a new strange teleportation device. So we have these really blue, dangerous looking, flickering, like highly energetic particles in here, which turn out really nicely. The whole cube is custom. I think 3 people also worked on this, didn't they?
Or the cube.
I made the particles. Someone else made the cube originally. I forgot the name. It credits of it, definitely. And then I think November made the textures, the new ones. No, Rory edited this.
It slightly.
Rory modeled a few things, and then November added the dirty skin. So actually 4 people have been working on this. Yeah. And Jared added the music and the sound design to this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
5 people.
If you go to one of them and listen, you'll hear like this. How did you design these sounds, Jared?
I tried to make it most slightly musical, but also kind of organic sounding, like there was something breathing in it.
There is actually a breathing sound which I found so like you sent me 3 versions, and there was this breathing sound and this like electrical sort of flickering, whatever you call it, and I thought those 2 are like I didn't expect the like sort of breathing, but I thought it was so nice and scary and like otherworldly, right? Which is what I wanted. It's amazing. So the Schrödinger's cube are a cut element from Portal 2 that is very little known because it was never actually shown anywhere. This is something that Valve made for DLC 2, so that's the puzzle, the one that PTI came with. And it's just not, like it's just been commented out of the engine basically, it just couldn't be used, but it was fully functional, so we just revived it, right? Just revived it by making a new model and all. It's a really cool gameplay element because it actually, you know, with a lot when you're constantly a new gameplay element, I always think about, well, what does this give us new, right? Like a catapult, for example, could be replaced by a fling and stuff. But this one actually gives new options for puzzle design.
Oh yeah.
And so the first puzzle just teaches you that you have to bring the cubes, that you can take them with you, and they have that stuff. They, teleport the laser. With custom music and music on these and sound effects on these made by Jared, and these have music. There's so much music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is another thing, right? You can see the next chamber here. I did the same thing again. Yeah. I like this. I like doing this stuff.
I don't blame you for helping him. You didn't see what she did. I mean, neither did I. But the records are disturbing. Took her less than a second to seal the fate of every human in the enrichment center. I'll never understand why we gave her that neurotoxin.
Yeah, the dialogue in this is just basically Condi reflecting and thinking about Sterling and stuff and what his goal is. This is interesting. This is... Oh yeah, what am I doing? Because if I shoot this laser in here, it won't come out of there, right? It has to be... Because of course, laser comes in here, comes out here, enters this one, and then goes in a loop basically. Actually it doesn't, it just stops because the engine doesn't need to simulate a million lasers. But if I now have another laser that goes into here, it will actually shoot out the other end. So this sort of like machine here, where it creates a laser, I think it's called bootstrapping for some people, Now we turned this cube into regular laser redirection cube, which is such an interesting property, and I really want to make more with this. This is so interesting because you can then make a puzzle where you have something activated, then you don't need to deactivate this, and you do that by removing this other cube. There's so much potential here. Portal modded universe. No, just players always thought like there's some modders who want this stuff and some players, but I find it's like you're limiting your own creativity with someone else, and that someone else is just anybody, right? Like if you're making an actual like franchise universe or whatever, right? You're the same team. But if it's just random people all making their own stuff, and I have to now adhere to Aperture Tag's lore or whatever, or Reloaded's lore, right? That is limiting anyone so much. And you can, of course, make a sequel to any other mod if you want to, right? But it shouldn't be necessary to adhere to every single mod that's out there. The light is also not fun here, it's sort of flickers on and off. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah, so I've noticed that sometimes. I was never able to debug it, but I was also running out of time, so...
It's not too much of a big issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's noticed.
But I like this chamber, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Definitely one of the best looking ones, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Just the lighting and everything, and the mood.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. I guess. I always try to have like... to separate things into like little nooks. Like this here is one sort of bucket here, where you can add things, right?
Yeah.
Separate to the others. So you focus on one thing after the other. Next chamber sign.
I just wish I could go back, you know, and amend both mistakes.
Here, because we have the bridge, we have this nice little like element here, right? I'm always looking for things to make the geometry more interesting. Here we have the bridge that you walk under, so we have all of these like cables and ducts and little lights that are off. I always like adding lights that are actually off, rather than just only adding lights when we need them, because this just gives that little bit of extra sort of immersion, I guess, that lights don't just exist for gameplay purpose, they actually exist in the world, even if they're not needed. This puzzle is interesting. A lot of people actually like start off this a bit more. There's a lot of unwanted solutions that you could do, which I've seen. Like one solution is that I've seen people do is like this.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, I saw someone do that.
Which is just super hacky, because you can tell it was intended, right? You can barely reach this, and like I'm normally like I don't remove alternate solutions as long as they're not like this janky, so I think this would probably be removed, because their originals, it's pretty bad. You're barely. No, I don't like this one. And we can't fix it by just moving this back 64 units further.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the arenas also have nice music. Just super scary sounding. Oh yeah, the custom dirty elevators here again.
Was that November, wasn't it? I can't remember.
I think November made this.
Yeah, definitely.
The nice lighting here. I like doing stuff like that. This one was decorated by you guys.
Yeah.
This room.
Whole thing. I got stuck for a moment.
I also thought, oh fuck, but I don't know what happened there.
quite a lot of detail in here that not many people notice. Mainly because it's all under
We
the
might
floor.
not see each other in the next
Yeah.
test
You
chamber.
mean the
Well, a
moss?
few places.
Whatever he says or has already said to you, we cannot allow GLaDOS to return.
Are you talking about the moss or what? Something under
all
here?
the detail I put under the floor there.
Yeah, did you put a lot of time into this?
I put like, I don't know, 20 minutes into it or something.
Yeah, but you keep talking. It doesn't that much time, but you keep talking about this.
Well, I like it.
It's nice, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just not a highlight because you obscure
also
it
one of
with
the
few- Yeah, I
you
know.
can't see it ever.
One of the few places my moss texture is in as well.
Oh yeah, you
Moss,
put
moss model.
the moss models,
Yeah.
which you can barely see. It's
Over-engineered.
obscured. Yeah, it caused
Like
collision
Resident
problems.
Shh, don't-
Yeah, this wasn't. Who got the idea for this puzzle? Was it Will? Someone, or was it Ian? I think it was actually Ian. Someone had an idea. Oh, the Schrödinger's cube could be fun to have like a puzzle where you have to take the laser on a big journey, and it would just end up where it was already. This is what this was, right? Like this laser goes into here directly, and you have to intercept it and move it through a lot of other stuff, and then put it back where it already was. Which I think is a cool idea. So we did it.
Got a question from BK1 asked, what are the main steps to making your own portal mod in terms of finding other devs?
Honestly, I don't know how you would start a mod because the tooling required and everything is so massive.
Yeah.
And there's just no right or wrong way to do things. Like our setup won't work for some other mod, right? But in terms of finding people, I would say if you're the lead developer, you have to do things yourself, and you have to show people that you're taking this seriously, that this is a cool project, that this is something that that their time is worthwhile invested in, that the time that they invest into it is, worth their time. I'm not good with words today, as it turns out. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Show them that this will have some benefit for them at some point, right? Even if it's just a free mod project, we're just having fun. But also, right, we're actually going to ship this. This isn't going to be cut. This isn't going to be...
We want, people's work to like mean something.
Oh, is your little
So
friend
otherwise
not
people get
gonna
burnt
join
out very
us?
easily.
Oh well,
Yep.
this only regards you anyways. I just want to say thank you for bringing us this far. Really, I mean it. No one else could have pressed that button as well as you.
That line doesn't come off as sarcastic as it was intended. Wanted to have Stalling to sort of become a bit more antagonistic towards you, but this line, people take it as genuine.
It's sarcastic.
Yeah, it's
But
supposed to
people
be
British, I think.
sarcastic.
I think it works.
I like the shadows.
We already have moving arm panels.
We don't have them a lot now.
I think this doesn't make sense, but...
The design had like arrow above it at some point. I don't know why it's not done. Talk about the music, Jared.
What? Oh, I forgot.
You forgot.
This one's also sad. I wanted to do the. I wanted the. What's it called? The tracks here to be like sad and kind of. What's the word? Broken
Melodramatic.
down. More so broken down than the like 80s area or 90s, wherever it was, where you fell down to.
Oh god, this
Skybox.
sky looks
Skybox.
strange, yeah.
Yeah.
The fog doesn't. That's the roach fog, yeah. This map is called Plant Spam. No, it isn't, but I spam a lot of plants here.
You want to have like a secret area in this upper area? I remember you wanted to put like something behind there or something.
Thought about
Like,
doing
like
something
walk-
here.
Yeah.
Didn't
remember
do
that one.
anything. Yeah, this puzzle is really cool. I like this. You're basically intercepting the laser,
Yeah.
so it reaches
hi.
this cube rather than the other one. Oh, look who you got here. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah.
How's it going at 4 a.m. in the morning?
4 a.m. Jesus.
It is like 4:46. I actually woke up before my alarm, which was quite fun.
Oh God. Well,
It's like I do that thing where like you're so ready to do something, like you've told yourself you have to be up.
That happened with me as well. I think I just got up like before, like early.
Ready to rumble. Look at us, all keen beans.
Edworld2 asks, do you like Luigi's Mansion? I like the first one. I've only played the first one. I've not played any others.
real questions. I've not
I
played
got
that
a
game.
question here from AskQ. What was your original idea for Revolution?
Was that really an original idea? Can't remember.
Original idea was pretty much what we got.
Yeah, didn't change. Well, it changed a lot, but
I mean,
Well,
in
it
like
changed quite a bit.
very broad strokes, right? The original idea was your test subject awoken by a core, Sterling. It was called different back then, but whatever. And you would be sent on a mission to destroy GLaDOS once and for all, because he knew that GLaDOS was in, like, just that she would come back. She's still alive. So he wanted to activate Aegis from Half-Life from Portal Story Smell. I don't know why I said Half-Life from Portal Story Smell, and that device, like Aegis, was then replaced by the Spire. The core is now Pete, and we don't destroy GLaDOS anymore. We try to revive her, or at least Sterling tries to revive her. And then we added Act 4 and 3 and 4, just to kick us in the asses a bit more. But yeah, like the broad strokes of the first half of the game is pretty much the same. It's just been redone over and over and over until it's finally good. This is
I am going to accept your implicit apology for breaking the teleporter. Your portal device really caused a lot of havoc there. Don't worry, I'm not gonna add the repairs to your list. I already got that covered.
This is again sort of supposed to shoot at the player a bit more antagonistic, but it doesn't come across that way to many players. This room, Ace, I just copied your instance and rotated it.
And flipped it around.
Yeah.
No one would notice.
No one notices, nope.
But yeah. Pred Production asks, can you briefly tell us how you came up with the idea of surface tests? That's what happened, I think, didn't it? Can't remember.
So,
Service
what do you mean,
basically
like?
just like overgrow. He's talking about like the A2 maps, or like
Yeah,
like
but
sort of outdoor maps. They're
like,
just overgrown, but on the surface.
the level design of what's in them, or the decoration, or why we have them. Capture the player's fab in Portalution. We will never know.
You'll never know.
Something
Take a wild
horrible
guess.
that Sterling regretted reading or asking about.
I've got a question.
Yep.
Your new little blue friend. Who is she? The voice seems familiar. Alright, you can't respond. Maybe you can introduce me to her when you come back.
Hinting that he knows who she is. I modeled this in a live stream. Still looks good.
Lighting on that
Yeah.
wall feeling was a bit weird.
I saw this hallway a lot when I was working on this map. I'm very acquainted with this hallway.
Oh, there, yeah.
Yeah, weird. It's fine.
Yep, this looks really cool. I like adding these like little white pipes here because they add some nice needed contrast. Which is why I also like adding these bits and these and the yellow tiles. They just add, because everything is just normally grey and beige, so you just gotta add some highlights to break it up. This is fun. I just had the idea, I just had the impulse, I made a test map, I put it there, I scripted the whole thing, then I didn't use it for half a year or so, and then at some point I thought, hey, I'm gonna put it right there. And now it's here. The little animation. Completely necessary, but those things just add to it, you know. Little particles. Yeah, this chamber is fun. It's not very hard, but I like
I
having
remember it
things
was
bounce
really
around.
hard because the portal magnet didn't work for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a big balance when you're adding like reflex stuff. You don't wanna, you want to be accessible so many players can play it, even on controllers and stuff. So when you suddenly have to shoot portals mid-air, it can be very overwhelming, but we added such big portal magnets that they just always catch your portals. And because you have placed the cube before, hopefully, so it always goes in, we don't have a problem that it's like misaligned slightly. Yeah, and then here just to add some more gameplay. So,
You really like the burning of the turrets. There was quite a few puzzles that never made it. They were just
we had a
consistent
lot
burning
more of
turrets.
that. Yeah, but players got kind of players were kind of like, we're always burning so many turrets everywhere. It's kind of becoming boring, right? But here I wanted the player to at least once burn turrets with the Schrödinger's cube, because it's quite fun that you can just walk around with it, basically as like a weapon.
Although it is entirely possible to do it passively, I believe. I've seen someone do it.
Does that thing have the normal office refract and the...
It has the normal office refract and
It's both.
glass.
Double the trouble.
Need both. That's a cool. I love these stairs. These stairs are really sick.
Yeah, I remember. Nice that you liked them, because I remember like this was like I decorated this bit at a stage of the game where I was just so tired of these repetitive decoration tasks.
Yeah.
Right. But I've never decorated a stair like this really.
I love. Yeah, it's like slopes down.
So that was quite nice. Yeah. Ace did. I think you did this one, Ace. Or did it? What was it, Monty?
I did the ceiling, yeah.
You did it. Yeah.
I pretty like most of the destruction, including in the main chamber.
I'm glad you did
further
this.
downstairs.
Because at this stage I had no patience to do something like this again. I wouldn't have. I think
it was like
it's just instances again.
no, actually, I don't think it is. I think it's a mix of like some like actual props, maybe a basis from the instance, but then just a lot of custom, like manually done files and
collapsing
stuff.
them and.
That's fine, of course. Yeah. I mean, I never. If I say that stuff, it's fine to use instances. It's just, often you would come in and say, "Hey, I decorate the ceiling," and I'm like, "I know you just placed 2 instances." I recognize my instances.
Remember that one time in A2 intro, I just placed down 2 instances, called it a day, and you were like, "No," and then I went back and made it an office.
Yes, I remember that, and that turned into a nice shot.
And it just became the main
still
game.
Charging up the teleporter. Your little accident used up all the teleportation juice. It's an actual liquid, by the way. Had to scramble together every last drop of gel from the bottom layers of the enrichment center to mix some new fluid.
I think that joke is only funny to me. Like the it's an actual liquid, by the way. It's just something where everyone always says like, we need more juice in this, right? It never is actual juice, but this time it is an actual liquid. Whatever. Normally they say juice to electricity, right?
Yeah.
But it's actual juice. Yeah, this is like one of those instances that we're talking about. Just one of those decoration pieces that we made like 2-3 years ago, and can just plop in there. Because this hallway, no one ever looks at this hallway, right? It's just a hallway. Yeah. But you want some sort of decoration, some sort of destruction still in here. But you don't want to spend an entire day just decorating one hallway. At least not with every hallway, but like sometimes I say, okay, I'm taking an entire evening to decorate this hallway, sure. But you can't do that for every single little hallway.
Yeah. And this is like a really teeny tiny hole.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we could make it bigger and more grand, right? But when you have 40 maps, you have to balance your time.
40 maps and limited time, yeah.
Yep, you have to balance that. And more important stuff in the stage of the game, like adding a finale.
Oh, we got a question from SP2G here. You can't really use Puzzle Maker for prototyping puzzles due to how many levels chambers work, so how did you design the puzzles for Revolution?
I did it like this. I opened Hammer.
Yeah, I actually do this now, what you do, because actually so
I call it a skeleton chamber. And then I just place the floor. Yeah. Then I add a button. just prototype it in Hammer. Just what I do is, I don't overcomplicate things in terms of adding walls and stuff. Like I would just place in floors and walls where they're necessary. Like if you have a tractor beam, you have to have a wall, of course. But everywhere else, there's no walls. So then I just place a big cordon around it and can compile the thing really quick.
And when you keep the geometry loose, you're less likely to like, be stuck with that shape. Because if you make a room, you're stuck with that shape of the room.
That's why I don't place walls. I've noticed that if I place a wall, like a temporary wall, just to compile the map, that wall will always be like ingrained in my mind for this wall is there, right? When I'm trying to decorate, I am hesitant to remove the wall or like change things around because it seems so rigid. But when you don't have anything, I find that my creativity flows better with decoration, and it's also just much faster for prototyping. Of course, you can't push this to you can't give this to a player because you can't just fall down, right? But you can give it to a player and say, hey, it's just a very, very rough prototype. You're my friend, right? Just don't get stuck intentionally. Just try to solve it, right? You can do that, and then you can figure out, hey, this puzzle actually works, and then you add some walls and stuff. But until then, I just prototype like this. I don't have any indicator lights at this stage. I can talk more about how I designed puzzles because I think it's very backwards.
I've got some news.
Yeah.
He wants to use the unstable Spire teleporter to put together GLaDOS, right? If we can go into the control room and cut power from the core, we have a real chance of preventing a catastrophic meltdown.
I have a feeling that this line is outdated. The Spire is no longer melting down the facility.
Yeah, I always hear
Sarah!
That doesn't seem like that.
We need to re-record this. Let's meet tomorrow at 3 a.m.
No.
Sure, why not? We'll do a wild update of just will Mandela affect everybody into thinking that it was always there in the first place?
You weren't there when I mentioned it, but I sort of teased that I'm thinking about maybe doing a 2.0 update or definitive edition, whatever, director's cut, whatever you want to call it, where we just improve shit and change stuff, change up the puzzles to be a bit better or harder, maybe add some new puzzles for Act 4, which would also require new dialogue.
So then we can expand on Sterling betraying you.
Yeah, because that's a big point for many people. They don't like that.
I think
Act 4 is way too quick.
Yeah, I feel I don't know. I feel like if you moved the sudden change shift to the Spire room, it would make more sense. A little bit. No,
I think my original intent was that Sterling is listening to you and he understands that you're betraying him, but you just have no idea what that is happening. So it just comes across very quickly.
It's kind of hard to convey that.
It's hard to convey that unless he tells you, I'm listening to you, and then the next bit, and then the next scene makes no sense anymore, right? Because there's no suspense anymore.
Yeah.
So
I guess you could always add it after the surprise, after he says I'm gonna kill you. He says I've been listening in on your conversations with her or something.
Yeah, could do this sort of stuff. Oh, this is right. I did this a few times where I set the light a bit. I think it's nice. So yeah, the final puzzle already.
There's a secret in this chamber, if I recall correctly.
Secret? Where the hell is the secret?
Because someone managed to escape this chamber one time, and then I added a reward for them instead of fixing it.
What the hell?
Wait, is this the one where there's a cake somewhere?
There's cakes in many maps, but not this one. It is Island Place one.
See, now that I've implanted it into your skull, you're never gonna be able to sleep at night.
I don't know what you put here. Yeah, this map was
losing us.
This map was tough to decorate because it's just so big, and for Overgrown you have to kind of make things smaller to work great.
Yeah.
Because the plants are only so big, right? And you can only use the same prop so many times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the idea of this
you want to
puzzle.
model us some new plant props?
No.
The idea of this puzzle was to combine all of the elements that we introduced in Pro Revolution into one map, right? We have the showers, we have the vacuum tubes, and we have the Schrödinger's cubes. Vacuum tube, not cube. I hope I said cube. Tube. And I also wanted to have a puzzle where the vacuum tube is used to transport the player, gel, and a cube. That is something I actually wanted to have as the final puzzle for Act 3, but that was cut, so then I revived it for the final puzzle of the game. And I really like that. Like it's the best. This is so cool about the Pneumatic Diversity event, right? It can transport so many things, and you're using the same thing to fling yourself, then you fling paint. Oh, this doesn't work because I still have the fizzle here. How do I solve the puzzle again? Yeah, right. Already did it.
I've seen a few people here forget that you can crouch to stop bouncing on paint.
Didn't we add the indicator for that?
That was broken
Well,
at the
we
time.
wanted to, but we didn't.
It was broken. We had
okay.
issues with the code.
Right.
I don't know if it works now. Oh, what the hell?
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
Fixing
I did move
that.
Did the roof hit you? What is that?
I'm fixing that.
Yeah, the prop. So what's hilarious is that it happened to me, and then I fixed it, and then a playtester found it and recorded it, but already fixed it. But clearly I didn't fix it well enough.
Well, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm on my own build. I'm not on the Steam build, so maybe it's already fixed. I just didn't compile it.
I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I moved it up so you couldn't hit it.
Aha!
I found it.
I found it.
Where is it? Oh, it's there.
Wow.
There it is.
Well, you should have left your camera at this position.
Yeah. Well, I didn't expect you to open the map again.
Well,
But how do you get up there is the question.
So you didn't fix
Yeah.
it.
I did fix it. Well, I didn't.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
could
make
just
it not
moved
solid.
it.
I did
Okay.
move it.
Let's just make it
Yeah.
not solid, just in case. Yeah. Okay.
But
So
it is
that's-
possible to get up to that secret though. I won't tell you how, but it is possible.
Is it like glitchy or is it like actually?
No,
Oh, okay.
just a bit of
Fair
parkour.
Was there a catapult here that we removed? I guess so. Yeah.
Is it hidden? Is it hidden? Might be hidden.
No, it's not hidden. There's just no I think I removed the catapult.
Yeah, weird.
So we fixed that bug. God, there was way too many discussions necessary about this piece of floor here.
Well, being too destroyed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was too destroyed,
Oh, yeah, it was
and it
too
was
destroyed.
not destroyed enough, and then it was the perfect balance. There we go.
We always pull the latest data and spend the next 6 months fixing everything that is breaks. Oh god, no.
No.
No, please.
Anything for that.
Oh, I didn't place my
My bad.
other portal. Right, I have to. I'm not thinking about it, I'm just talking to people, so I'm not thinking. Yeah, I have to get up here again. And get more gel. This puzzle had a very different shape before. Do you guys remember how it looked?
Remember, no.
It was
vaguely.
so big.
Oh yeah, it was. It was like fucking like double the size
Yeah.
as well.
It was ridiculous. This tube wasn't bent in a U shape, it was bent in an L shape, and that just caused the puzzle to be very L-shaped. But then there was
Yeah.
nothing in like the... Right, if you have an L shape like this, there's just nothing here. There was nothing there. So I tried to fill it with bullshit, but it was just way too complicated and dumb and exploit-ridden, so I just made an U and then the whole chamber just worked immediately better.
And it works well because you have the two like sides and it like parallels nicely. You
Yeah.
Split down the middle.
It's pretty nice.
Did you fix the gel issue as well? It like spreading too far and then you just jump up manually.
I did, yeah.
Okay, good.
Somebody fixed that, I think.
Yeah, they.
I initially added the grate, and then I think I added a whole bunch
Those
of like,
cube
pink
maps
lenses on
are
the floor there.
horrendous.
Allow it.
So, right now I just jump in, but yeah, I want to have this portal there.
I think I'm forgetting something.
Because now I can get this cube to me.
Oh yeah, I did that. I really like how this looks.
Yeah,
So fun.
almost missed it.
By the way, to get this to work, we have like a catapult here. That gets activated when we have paint. So there's a paint sensor here, which is a P2C thing that was always broken for like 3 years, and no one noticed. I guess, and
that fix get pushed to Strat.
I fixed it on our end. I don't know if it was. I don't know. I forgot if I upstreamed this.
Let's meet after this elevator. I'll prepare an escape route for you that will take us straight to the spire. Meet you there.
Alright, Sarah, meet you there. Oh, we've got Rory.
We do.
Hello.
So, end of the chapter, huh?
Wow, that was a quick chapter.
Yeah, let's have a toilet break. We need to go. Be back in a second. Alright, I'm back.
Welcome
back.
I forgot all of the screenshots that I had. I think at some point I found a bunch of new funny screenshots and added them and never used them in the stream before.
Are we ready for the longest chapter in the game?
The longest chapter in the game. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to have this be its own chapter, right? You want it to be selectable for the game main menu. It's just very short because it's right before the end boss fight. But I mean, in total, right? Like every act is supposed to be about an hour of like every chapter is supposed to be like an hour of gameplay or so, and if you put 7 and someone is being arrested.
Why? Why? You're being arrested.
Ignore that.
They saw the broke game images. They're arresting the modeler.
Yeah, I don't know. There seems to be a lot of those or something.
America.
America, hell yeah.
So yeah, this is like such clearly a trap, right?
It's like literally just right there. This is a trap on the walls.
You couldn't make a trap more obvious. You've got the drop that you can't get back from. You've got the door just begging.
Close. I actually remember you could escape on the white wall. There used to be a white wall on the right above that.
You can portal through that, yeah.
No, on the wall.
No, there used to be a white wall, like with I think those like above that white wall there.
Oh, here, yeah, you could jump
Yeah,
up
you can
here.
jump over.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, chapter 8 of 8. Chapter 8 of 8. There's nothing
Should have put like a
behind
funny
here.
thing on there. Should have put like a funny word on the side.
Nothing behind here, by the way. So yeah, this is
Like got you on the side.
this
You
is
started the stream.
huh?
Did you restart? Oh yeah, there we go. Sorry.
I didn't end it.
My stream was lagging for some amazing
Oh.
reason.
Yeah, I didn't end
Okay.
it. So good. Was just
They've always
was
like-
panicking a bit. Okay. this is writing this monologue was so much fun. And then Sarah, you were kind of like all of those lines that Conley says. You just improvised. It's-
That's right. You were like, Sarah, we need something to go here, and I was like, okay. I'll say some words.
I kind of see I'm going to shut up. That was the funniest
I
one.
really like the in the lines here, like the when you like the what are you doing?
Yeah.
I really like that one.
It's kind of singing a bit. Yeah.
The singing.
Yeah. I think we wanted to record more stuff for Conley to say, like that really directly reacts to what Starling is saying, but we just never did it. And I find it interesting how few players actually listen to this. Most players just panic and run away.
Yeah, a lot of people like. It's such a classic Portal moment to like be monologued at, where there's a clear escape route.
Yeah, and like there isn't even any danger. Like he's just saying he's gonna kill you, and everyone's just But yeah,
There is danger, but it revives very slowly.
it is the danger doesn't happen. Like there's no danger here. Come on. You have to intentionally fall in there. Like this is not something that you accidentally die from. But also many players don't notice that there's a surface here for some reason.
Yeah.
I did
Because
die
it's
here.
maybe in the dark a little bit.
It's so obvious. Come on. I don't know how. Whatever. Players.
Need to put a neon sign pointing to
I
it.
have decided. You betrayed me. Twice. I have given you enough chances. Something tells me that your new little friend managed to turn you against me, so I'm just going to kill you. Now, before you become any sort of threat. Again, thank you for your help. You served us well. Now you might be thinking, but Sterling, my dear, how am I going to die? And the answer will be very simple. I will use this teleporter, the very one which you activated, to teleport you someplace which will lead to your immediate demise. Now I realize I didn't quite answer the question, but that's because I will let you decide. I have a few options here. Quite gracious of me, isn't it? Letting you choose. Kind of makes the death voluntary, doesn't it? Like a suicide.
Hello?
Okay, so here are the options. Option 1, suffocation by solid rock. You will be teleported into a rock, fully surrounded with no way of moving or escaping.
It's me
I'll have to
actually
see
whistling.
If the air inside you gets teleported along, because if not, even your insides will be rock, which feels very gruesome. So, starting off with the very gruesome one, which might not.
That thought still terrifies me.
Yeah.
I think it was in like it's a German YouTuber called Cold Mirror, and she makes this like intentionally crappily animated series called Star Space, which is like a like a mixture of Star Trek, Star Wars, all kinds of like star whatever sci-fi stuff. And there's one episode where there's a character that is like in the background just beamed into a wall and hasn't been like rescued since, and is just stuck there with the face out. I think that's where I got the idea from. Like, the teleporter fails and just teleports you like a meter to your right into the wall, and no one can do anything about it. It just terrified me. I didn't really come up with any other things that didn't got into River. Like that was the one thing that I had, and then I just needed 2 more, and I thought, well, whatever. I don't know. Maybe you can teleport to another planet or to like into a black hole. The two are very similar thematically, right? Space stuff.
Be the most painless option, but we have 2 more coming right up.
Is he ever going to shut up?
Option 2: starvation and/or dehydration by outer space planet. With
this is where the game finally acknowledges that Sterling is annoying on purpose, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of players that were really pissed off and didn't want to play Revolution because they didn't like Sterling's sort of nerd emoji voice, as people call it. But I mean, that was the whole point, right? Yeah.
Next one, I will teleport you outside our galaxy to some habitable planet with proper atmosphere, temperature, ozone layer, and all that stuff that you humans love so much. You'll have time to explore a foreign planet, but will eventually die from starvation. Even if you manage to survive, you'll be far enough away from me to not be a problem. Quite an honorary death, I think. First person to visit a planet in a different galaxy. It's also the only option which doesn't kill you instantly. So if you want some time to rethink your mistakes, I pick this one.
Do it, just
Now the third option is a bit of a combination between the two, at least thematically. Option 3, instant death by singularity. This one seems quite straightforward. I teleport you near the event horizon of a black hole. Gotta be honest, this is the most interesting option by far in my opinion. I always wanted to explore the possibilities of using a black hole as a landfill. Even
try to kind of connect that to Sterling's janitor personality, right? Like he has these grand plans. He's way too like obsessed with his goal of cleanliness, that he's trying to like, you know, further physics understanding and everything. Just to get rid of shit.
pitched it. They told me to clean the toilets instead.
And then the whiplash that they just didn't care.
That one's gonna be though. Those things are on the limit of our understanding. So,
someone in
what do
the
you say?
chat
I'm going to give you 10
has said that I
seconds to
don't
think.
think Sterling knows how black holes work. And I feel like that's probably why nobody at Aperture took him seriously.
But I mean, why wouldn't it work, right? You just teleport the garbage somewhere in space, and it's gone, so you can just use it as a landfill.
I mean,
yeah,
technically
somewhere.
the other best
Oh,
option
man.
is just load it onto a rocket and shoot that into space.
Yeah, or you just use the spy and teleport it, and don't have the risk of rockets exploding.
Yeah.
A really well-tuned faith plate.
Oh yeah. that's so
Really
funny.
burn up in
Thought.
the atmosphere.
How much G-forces would you have to experience?
Well, they did like experiment with launching humans into space.
Yeah, that's true. I
With the
forgot
fake
about that.
Accidentally slipping onto that, like, plate. Just...
Yeah, you've got like
to the sun.
you have like a test chamber with multiple faith plates, and you're supposed to like you're an actual janitor that has to mop this stuff up, right? And just don't step on the wrong plate.
Yeah.
If you're gonna give up, it's like right there. Just
The way that it's counted like 21, 22, I think it's more common. Like I got comments that from English-speaking people that this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't.
It's
a weird way of
something.
counting.
It's yeah, because you guys say things like, I don't know, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi,
Yeah,
or whatever, if you want to
that's
count
what I keep
accurately.
track.
But in German we often count 21, 22. Because in German it
Weird.
means 21, 22. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to say afterwards, which keeps you on pace, sort of. But whatever, we'll just keep it. You two didn't say anything, right?
Yeah, well, I just thought it was. I thought it was weird. It wasn't a problem, but it's kind of weird.
Time's over. So jump once for 1, twice for 2, and... Okay, forget it. I lied all along. The teleporter is not fully charged. I'm just gonna use the shredders under this floor. Goodbye! Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. That's underwhelming.
So
Do you
slow.
mind if you could just jump in?
Wasn't it like accidental?
Yeah. When I first built this, like this just turned like I added a thing and I made it move. And I wanted it to like be really fast, right? And then it turned out to be so slow. That was actually really funny. So then we recorded more voiceover, and it's actually faster than it was originally. Originally, it was like twice as slow, I think.
Oh wow.
But yeah, like I thought that it was broke, but it was just moving so slowly.
Didn't think it would take this long.
Yeah, I could just.
No. Don't do that. Where are you going?
Wait,
Only just
did
hanging
he
out.
say his name was
Yeah.
Sterling?
Hey, come back! I can't see you!
I also modeled this in the live stream.
Called the
Oh, yeah,
little
I
guy
remember.
Sterling? Huh.
Where do you think you're going?
Remember?
Ta-da! Spire. Think you can jump that gap?
Yeah.
I appreciate that the little photo I took of my Roomba at home here, labeled Sterling,
I remember
was
that.
just in the build. Like, was
Oh,
in
yeah, there's a
the
texture
build.
of that.
Yeah. We never added it, but people found it pretty
We
quickly.
should have.
We should add it. Time constraints.
Well, when we do the definitive edition or whatever, we'll have
Yeah,
place
we
to
can
put
do
it.
that.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. If not, we should just release it as like a little Steam thing, maybe.
I think it would be cool to add it to the
Steam
game.
trading card.
A Steam trading card.
The only one. It's incredibly rare.
The only singular one.
1 in a million chance.
Wait, there's plush cubes going through the tubes.
Yeah. Just a plushies. Supplying the Spire with plushies. We're stealing resources. They need the plushies, all of
He's
them.
stealing resources from the plush factory.
Yeah. Stoling is obsessed with plushies, I guess.
Oh no,
Yeah.
he's a collector.
No, they're not a marketable plush.
No.
Yeah, for this puzzle, I wanted to have like just raw, basic Portal gameplay with nothing else, with no elements. It's just sort of you're winding away through the spire to get into the control room, and I thought it would be nice to have you enter, like to jump through the incinerator that you threw the companion cubes in, because that was like I looked at the spire control room and I thought, where could I have the entrance? Could go through the same entrance, but that's kind of lame, right? What if we just jumped up from there? So, and people really like that, so that's cool. So yeah, just have to kind of be like a rat and go. This is something that I re-emphasize so many times, right? We're exploring the enrichment center in ways that you aren't supposed to. You're kind of winding your way through here. You're going through like this little gap and through the vent and through another fan here, and now I saw this in a playthrough. I didn't realize we have this texture down here. Interesting.
That's cool. I don't remember that.
I don't remember it either.
Did I add that?
I don't remember it either.
I probably placed it, but I forgot about it because I added this wall.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Interesting. So this is just basic fling here.
I still remember the day when this was all just dev box and there was nothing interesting going on.
Yeah. I mean, this is again where the shape of the room hasn't changed since then, which makes it harder to decorate. I don't like the decoration of this, honestly. It's just noise.
It's
but
the worst.
This,
the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it works, but it wasn't easy to just add
I feel like
grievous
it's a little
everywhere.
boxy in places.
It's very boxy.
There's worse boxy in Pool 2, to be honest. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean yeah, sure, but like there's no purpose to these rooms, right? They're just kind of hallways. And if you don't know what the purpose of a room is, you can't really decorate it because what it's supposed to be, it's not realistic, right? Because what does this connect to? I guess nothing. And there's no other, like there's one door here, okay. I thought this was again like one of those weird areas where there's no way to get there.
But there's a button on the other side and there's no way to get to the button on
That
the
is
other
true. Yeah, that is true. You have to actually fling the way to it.
It's required.
Yeah.
That's why all the employees had to run across the opening door to get it back.
Actually, pretty late in the game, I went through and removed a few doors that just players would always go to every single door and press it and try to open it, and which is fine, right? But it was a bit excessive at some point.
You can change the mic to make a door not like open, but they will still try to open it. Like in one of my maps, I have this door that clearly can't be opened, doesn't even have a light on it. Every single person goes over to try to open it.
Yep, everyone tries. Oh god, Monty, you added this hash override to it, right?
I did. I stripped it down to 0.5 like scale.
It's a model that's like on a weird offset and a weird angle, and you just rotate it and scale it.
It works. It works.
It's meant for something completely else. It's made for these like huge aperture doors, but prop scaling.
I remember there was a bug here once where you could jump in between the doors and get stuck. The doors wouldn't kill you, but you also wouldn't get died.
Interesting.
So I had to fix that. I think I had to like make it so they would crush you.
Yeah.
But it's also difficult to test. But I believe it works.
The collision on this thing is...
I remember you got so peeved off about the collision not working, you just did it manually.
Just did it in Hammer, because whatever tool it was, either it was Blender, or it was Blender add-on, or it was Studio MDL. One of those didn't work. I think we actually had a broken version of Studio MDL.
The collision model was the exact same as the original.
I know. It must have. I think it was Studio MDL. I think it was.
Did you parent the collision model to the base version?
I tried everything. It never worked. It was always offset.
Maybe we should have just added like the original like Incinerator model, but just have it rendered to none and use that for collisions.
Or just make it manually.
I mean, that works.
Or just spend 5 minutes making a manual collision model, and then it's done, and I can forget about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Conley. I dropped you.
Yeah, I have to go now. So
unfortunately. Goodbye.
Oh.
Yeah, I got Greek night, so I will
see it.
It's a Greek thing. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Were you invaded by the Greeks?
What the fuck?
No. Yeah, I have Greek family. Anyway, so I will see you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Is it stuck?
Nah, I can pick her up.
Ready for this?
Oh.
I'll just wait. So yeah, I think this is so cool that you could jump in through here. Yeah. Conley.
Welcome, ladies. Welcome to your demise. Let's get the preamble and get to it. Any last words?
Yeah, I have some. Is it possible that you were once a vacuum cleaner?
How do you know that?
I can't believe it. Oh, they grow up so fast. It's not polite to murder your mother.
Okay, don't say what the original dialogue was, but do you guys remember the original dialogue? Don't say what it was!
It was interesting as what it was.
I wrote it in such innocence.
I wonder if we still have that line spoken around anywhere.
It's gotta be somewhere, but it's never touching the internet. Sarah doesn't want that recording on the internet.
No, I
Leave-
really don't.
Leave it in the depths of hell forever.
I'm glad we found a better line.
Yeah, it was. We did like 4 or 5 different versions until we were like, that's gotta be it. All right.
Yeah. Oh god.
I was created by a human.
I can't believe my Roomba is trying to kill us.
Yes, about that. Spire is still charging. Just give me a minute. I'll murder you as soon as possible.
Yeah, I kind of wanted. Sorry.
ASAP. It's just
ASAP, as
whatever.
soon as-
Oh yeah, as soon as possible. Yeah. I kind of wanted Sterling to be like he's trying to kill you, right? But he's so incompetent. He has no idea how to do it, which is right because he's not a bad guy. He's just like he's the first time murdering someone, just this innocent little Roomba, trying to kill you. And at first he fails with the floor and stuff, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. Now he's just saying, just wait for a bit. I'll kill you in a minute. Don't worry. But like he's so unprepared for everything, right? Oh, I pressed tab. Nice. Yeah. So then there's an extra
Don't have
dialogue
any
here.
other deadly weapons here, sadly.
I'm gonna listen to every single dialogue here.
Just jumped into my pit, you know. No need to wait.
Yeah, again, just saying,
I'm so
like
disappointed.
it's kind of your fault that you're still here. You could have died earlier, right? Like, this awkward silence is not on me, because like, I tried, but...
I didn't even realize there was additional dialogue if you stayed down the bottom there.
Oh, there's a lot of dialogue that if you stay... Yeah.
What did you even
Oh, good.
think by coming here? Thought you could just press a button to stop me?
You mean
Yeah, like that dialogue that you heard before only plays when you don't get close to the button, because I had to play the button dialogue basically as soon as you get to it, so it's synced with what you're seeing, right? Which is always really difficult. Like the amount of logic here to check, oh, you're standing here, so I can't play this and this, and I'm not playing this too earlier, and this is actually interrupting the old dialogue. There's so much fucking dialogue logic here for this sort of stuff, which was a nightmare to test, because every time I have to listen through the entire thing again.
this button?
What button?
These large scenes are a real chore to make, but they have such big payoff in the end once they
Something
work.
else that's interesting here that not many player noticed is, compared when you were here last time, Sterling
Not the
actually
button.
cleaned up the
Ignore
place
it.
a bit.
Don't look at it.
Except the
What happens
chairs.
if we press it?
We cleaned up all the boxes.
Don't press the button.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is. yeah, because you wanted these chairs to be physical, but they were static before. Because I said, well, they have to be static because they have to be static in the first map, because if you move them, then they will be in different places once you come here, right? So it doesn't make sense. And then you said, or we somehow got to the idea that Sterling like cleaned it up. So these boxes here were actually, there was a big pile of paper and the boxes were like spread all over.
Boring, believe me.
And he kind of tucked it all together and organized it. I think these are actually weird because either they shook, there was a shake, or the collisions in there are bad, so they like exploded out. I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
But that was such a thing that no one will ever notice. But we just thought it so funny. Like, you come back and Sterling just cleaned it all.
Don't
He can't
press
resist
it.
his janitorial duties.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we press any
It calls to
buttons,
him.
Can you put me on this claw in the corner?
I love how he can clean up paper, but he can't push a button.
Yeah, that is true. But he isn't programmed for it,
really
right?
requires one requires cognitive, like a good brain to solve, and one requires, using a claw or something. It's very different, very complicated procedure. Push a button.
Yeah, definitely.
This claw.
The claw in the corner.
Yeah, dialogue is also funny, but the idea of this claw, how did we get this again? Like, I was just making this map.
Oh, I remember that.
And we were all in
the.
we were all in a call.
Joined in on that.
Yeah, and then I had this idea, this really stupid idea, because I needed to solve the problem that I needed to have Conley somehow around you, like as a companion, right? But you can't have her in your hand. I need her to be in your hand as you're moving through this first control room, but then I need to get rid of her somehow as you for you to press the button. It was actually a really nice device, like a really nice gate, because you can't press the button as you're holding Conley, right? Which is good because I want to have the dialogue, so this was great. But then I had to get rid of Conley somehow. And where do I place Conley? First thought, well, let's place her back in there, right? But then where is she then? Is she just somewhere in the behind the walls? Like Sterling is just somewhere. I mean, we don't really know where. And then I thought about the claw. And thought, well, okay, we put her in the claw and she's getting moved up. That's kind of funny. And it also is a nice recycling of that element, right? Because this brings you the companion cube and now it's taking something away. And just so you know, Rory, we hear a lot of background, whatever it is.
Please put me on the claw.
Chill out, Sarah.
No.
No. So then I had the idea, okay, what if we have a big sort of track around in the spire that she's just hanging on the claw, sort of flinging around. And I thought this was such a stupid and overly comical idea at first, and I rang up Monty, and you loved the idea. Or Monty isn't here anymore. Monty loved the idea, and then somehow we started prototyping it. Then Sarah came in, saw our prototypes, then Ace came in.
There's a claw.
And it was such a buggy thing.
I just came in and saw Claw just wheeling around on a claw.
Yeah, the first implementation was so buggy, it was so funny.
Come on, the claw.
Yeah, chill.
Now that your hands are free, I say we give that button a little push while I explore this magnificent vent.
I'm warning you. Don't do it.
The magnificent vent. Yeah, she's actually getting teleported over here now. Oh, but she's not in here, I guess. Okay. But the claw is already there. Just don't look at it.
It's not real.
Oh. There's a portal surface. Yeah. I kind of want to say some think of things to say before we activate the button. Let's listen to dialogue first.
By authorized employees.
Callback that he fired you. I like with the writing. I like to call back on things that happened earlier, or foreshadow things that will happen. But then here it's a callback that he fired you.
I fired you, remember? If you press this, you're forcing me to call security.
It's kind of turning into a Karen.
Security core, huh?
Security core.
Or meet the course.
Go away from the button. Don't even look at it.
Yeah, originally we actually had the idea of having these emitters here that would shoot into the core to sort of stabilize it. And you would take away the power by deactivating those beams, and then this spire would be less and less powerful, right? But that we never got to a design for this thing, and it was so much effort or whatever. So then we changed it to be these pipes up here, which I think also has a lot of benefits, because now we don't have the beam in the play area anymore, but rather it's up here and you can visually see that it's falling down and stuff. I think it still looks really cool. So that is basically the device for you have to decide. Yeah, designing a boss fight, man, this was tough. I struggled a lot with getting an idea, and at some point when we playtested with Anna, who made Portal Mel, who was the lead dev on that, she played a build where the entire game was basically done, except for there was no finale yet. And the chambers in Act 4 were also very unfinished, right? And she came here and I was like, yeah, this is the game, basically, we don't have a boss fight yet. And then I explained my idea and she really liked it. The idea was, yeah, so we would have these test chambers in the middle that get teleported in, and the test chamber sort of becomes bigger and bigger. And you have to solve the same test multiple times, but as you do it, you get better at the old bits, right? So maybe at first you struggled with the first, but then you figured it out, and now you can do it much quicker. And it's basically exactly what we have in the game now. But then the question was, what do we have in the control rooms, right? It was basically chamber, control room, chamber, control room. Because I didn't just want you to enter a control room and just press a button, right? Let's actually add gameplay to the control rooms. So the first one would just be an introduction. The goal is to press the buttons with no danger and everything. And then in second we have turrets and stuff. And we talked about some other ideas of what could be in the control rooms, like there's the teleportation fluid, which you have to sort of clean up or something. I don't know, we had crazy ideas. And in the end just decided it's best to just keep it simple. Let's just have it be turret, combat, and portal momentum gameplay, right? Just flinging around. Back to basics, basically. Which worked out just fine. I thought it would be a bit repetitive, but yeah, I think it actually works quite nicely.
That's one satisfying button.
I told you not to press it! That's it. Time to die. Enjoy your last moments. You'll die in 5 minutes.
The fight's on. We need to disconnect all of those pipes before the time runs out. Here, through this door.
Yeah, so we have the test chamber. It's actually connected with some wires and some trusses here, something I did very late, so it isn't just floating there.
Check the door.
Things exploding and everything, right? Should also say funny things if I don't go through the door.
Please just go through this door.
I should have said something of like, I don't want to die, so just go through the door.
There's a line like that.
The door.
I don't remember.
There's a longer one coming up. You have to just wait for it though, and waste your time here.
That's a very long
You
timer.
just go through the door?
Because she's becoming a bit upset at this point, a bit frustrated, a bit worried.
Go through the door, or we'll both die because you're the only one who can push buttons. I have no hands, remember?
Yeah, that's the one I thought of.
Oh, there we go.
Check the door.
I think you improvised that one as well,
What
didn't
are
you?
you doing? Do you really
Maybe?
think that you can stop it?
But this is really cool. This is again like this is the same room, but now we're jumping through the glass here. And all of this like already existed in the first area, right? And it actually connected to this area. I think that's nice. All areas connected.
Whoa! This is wobblier than I thought.
So
I'm gonna get
stupid.
to this control room. Maybe this test chamber can help.
Yeah, but this actually had so many benefits because now we can have her shine at things for the player to look at, right? And it's actually
Seems about adequate considering I'm
was pretty
fighting my own
successful
vacuum
to
cleaner.
get players to notice things. And it's also just a cool light source that moves around, and we don't, because previously we had this, like there was this big truss with lights that fell down, and previously this was actually the light for all of the rooms, so the light would actually like rotate to whatever room you're in right now. But then we were able to just remove it, but thought, you know what, let's just have it explode. And now we have Conley just move around and give you light, which is also so much cooler because she's shaking around, just swinging and making dynamic shadows, and just adds to the energy of it. So the first room is very simple. You learn that this is where you get cubes from, and you just need to solve the little simplest puzzle ever. Use the catapult.
Now, inside. Come on, hurry.
What do you expect to find in there?
Should make the sound a bit louder.
Think these chairs are gonna save you?
No, but the button might. What would you use the chairs for?
I mean, I can ask you the same about the buttons. Seem a little bit obsessed with those.
Sorry?
Why are you killing those?
I'm sorry. I know your feelings. Also, Jared, has anything to say about the music?
This was probably the hardest track to make in the game.
It's 3 tracks!
Yeah.
And the credits track.
It was difficult. It's pretty difficult.
Well, how did you approach it then? Tell us.
I listened to the... Stop getting shot. I listened to the... what's it called? The final track of Portal 1 and the final boss track of Portal 2, and I thought of elements I liked from those and tried to integrate them here to sort of give the Mike Morawski like feel. Mike Morawski.
Did you learn anything from the interview that we did with him?
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you applied, for example? Because I always wonder.
Actually, no.
Not really.
It was neat. I did use some samples from you know the track where GLaDOS is pushing you into the fire? It's the something about Kelvin.
4,000 degrees Kelvin.
Yeah, they used some samples from the library that was used there for the very first part.
I never noticed it, but I read a lot of comments about that. People noticed that sample.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say something about the environment design here is, I wanted to have this like orange modern aperture aesthetic, right? But then I realized that it kind of didn't do as much as I wanted in the first act. So I thought, hey, we then had the idea to color code each control room. Like this is orange, other one is blue, the other is whatever. Just to have a bit of like variation to know where you are, right? Because that helps with navigation and knowing where things are, because it's a very symmetrical room, so it's very easy to get lost, right? So then I thought here...
Does the timer reset when you push the button?
Yeah, so I'm just waiting. It's reset to 6 minutes.
Okay.
I'm just taking my time now. So yeah, this is where then I apply some of that, like very, very bright orange design here. And I really like it. I love orange. It's such an, like, this is just the brightest orange color ever.
I really like how
Orange
distinct
box.
it makes the place feel.
We're halfway.
Yeah, I really tried to make each control room feel unique and that it has a personality. So you always know where you are and you know that you're making progress, right?
There.
Also just looks good.
Seconds to go.
I should have never taught
I
you
like
how
the
to
start
push
of this
buttons.
track.
Oh, nice. That's
Such as
fine
4
to
minutes.
charge as well.
Yeah, this track is so good.
2 more stages to go.
The energy just immediately ramps up. So basically you did 3 tracks, each of which is for the next stage. So when we press the button, there's this little like cooldown period, the music stops.
Yeah.
And
The leitmotif here is the mixture of Dies Irae and the Spire theme that I made for SPA3 Lake, which is like
Yes. I want to see you try. Come on. Fall down.
and a lot of people think Dies Irae sounds like a Portal 2 parody of a Nightmare Before Christmas song called Making Science. I did not know that until
That's where I was. That's where I was.
They were like, is that Making Science? And I was like, what's that?
yeah, I find it so funny. Like some other people said that some other track sounds like something from Aperture Tag. And I just find it so funny when people are so confident that they notice the connection, and I'm just, what is that? Like, I don't know. I haven't heard of that.
If you want to headcanon it as Making Science, go ahead.
Yeah, but we weren't
I'm not
aware.
opposed to it.
I mean,
When I
I
first-
know
when I
that sound,
first
but
heard
I
the track.
didn't connect at all. So.
Dies
When I first heard the
Irae
track,
is...
I was like, wow, this reminds me of Making Science a little bit.
Yeah, Dies Irae is a old like Latin, or not Latin, I think it's Gregorian chant, and it's usually used in like films and media to represent like impending doom or something. Which is why I used it here with the timer.
So more deep than I thought, okay?
Yeah.
This is, I wanted to have the chamber sort of assemble to be bigger and bigger. So the chamber, one idea was that the chamber becomes, you have a chamber, it becomes like harder, right? But I thought that's not a great idea for like a stressful situation. So we then just made it longer, so there's more stages. And here, for example, you would use the catapult to jump over here to the catwalk, but now it's intercepted here with the big wall, and now you can fling over to the next chamber and use this to use the tractor beam. And in the next stage, then there's entire chamber here, so this intercepts the tractor beam and cuts off access to the old areas, right? So you couldn't even go back to the old areas even if you wanted to, which is also really important to get players to know where they have to go, because they can never go back, they can only go forward. Some players are still, they mess this stuff up and, you know, die or whatever, which is fine. It makes it, you know, more challenging and satisfying when you actually finish it, but I think we did everything we could to direct the player to where they have to go, right? Conley always shows you the next door visually. She talks about it. The next door is always to your right.
What are you talking about?
And it's the only place where you can go.
I didn't see you again after you upgraded my chassis.
Ooh, some
We
backstory.
used to do everything together.
Do everything together. You were a vacuum cleaner. You cleaned up for us. Don't even ask me why we gave him consciousness.
You didn't even say goodbye.
90% bulletproof anti-turret defense cone. Forgot about
I think I noticed something. The tractor beam plays an old version of the part 1 phase of the boss track.
Did you make a new one?
I made like an A2 version, I think.
Let's look at that later, like after, and
Yeah.
see if you can replace it if you want. So yeah, kind of increasing the difficulty a bit. In the first one, the turrets all kind of, you had a lot of cover and they weren't looking directly at you, but here there's a lot of turrets all looking at each other, and there's not ported surfaces everywhere. Right, so it's just a bit harder. And at this jump, people mess up a lot. Should probably move, like copy one of those computers over there, because people sometimes only place the portal here, and then they somehow
Kill!
they somehow fail this. I don't know how.
It's the murderer's move today.
Pathetic.
Yeah. This turret. I don't know. This was a really late edition, I think, where I was going back through all of these areas and making them much harder because they were way too easy before. And I thought it, like, I had this sort of hatch copied from the original area, right? And I thought this is quite a nice decoration. Well, why couldn't we make it useful, right? Why don't we have Sterling sort of deploy a turret there? But then, if we had a turret here and actually shoot at you, like, how would you defeat it? So I thought it would be nice to show his incompetence again, of he doesn't know how to kill people, by just having it go up, and because of the inertia, the turret just immediately falls over and topples, which is completely scripted. I think it is, probably. See, I think this should always topple over.
Almost done. One more to go. The last control room is right here. Come on, you can do this.
This is my favorite one of the tracks.
Remember that brain damage test we did?
Yeah, I think it's
where
my
you had
favorite
to
as well.
push a button? Turns out I was wrong. You must have brain damage. Why else would you do this?
I think you also spent a lot of time on this because the gap from the first to second was really short when you sent them to me, but then I had to wait a long time for the third one.
Yeah. I think this one took the longest, the third phase here.
Slept for that long, right?
I think it's really great. Like when I heard the first one, I was kind of like the energy isn't there, but then it makes
I
total
wanted
sense
it
because
to be-
this is the first one, right? So it has to become
Yeah.
bigger and bigger.
I wanted it to be like gradual.
Next time when I make something like this, I'm gonna ask the producer to make the final one first, so I have more, you know, I'm more hyped because this is the final one already, and I know what to expect. Because your music up until here was basically very in the background, and you made the trailer before this already, but there we had to do a lot of back and forth as well because it didn't have the energy that I wanted. So yeah, I wasn't sure whether you could or were able to or wanted to make something as energetic as I wanted, right? But it turned out so perfect. And I still believe that you just asked Mike to
Explains a
make this
lot.
for you. That's why he's not giving me the interview.
That's you, by the way, in case you didn't get it.
Oh, I got it. Don't worry.
I'm not talking to you.
Oh god. Yeah, so here Sterling is becoming really angry at you and kind of shouting, and that whole thing about the buttons is like a commentary on it's like a joke about mechanical keyboards, right? Because at this sort of point I also made my keyboard, and everyone's also so obsessed with the sound and everything. I have the quietest switches that I could find. And then I thought, this was also the thing here, right? Originally the idea was for this ending to be much more serious, much darker and sad or whatever. But
Yeah, I remember the concepts with this ending being a lot more bittersweet.
yeah, I mean the ending at the end is so bittersweet, but like that the fight itself would be more serious. But then I thought, Monty and I talked about this. Oh my god, I'm sweating! Holy shit! What the fuck?
Streaming is very strenuous work.
This is This looks worse on camera than it does IRL, I must say. But wow, this is not a
Live stream fail.
This is not a good
Oh,
shirt.
you have to get an AC.
Yeah, I don't have it in this room. I have the doors closed and all, so I have sound. Yeah, and my PC is whirring. Streaming is always really hot.
Open a window.
And I have to open the blinds, or I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, then we sort of thought about, let's make the ending funny instead of serious, because we can't really, none of us have the making drama is really difficult, right? And the game up until here wasn't very serious either, so we then made it funny instead of serious. And I also found it quite, like, at first I thought, okay, let's not have it all be about pushing buttons, let's actually add some gameplay into these rooms. But then it just became pushing buttons, and I thought it was so ridiculous that the gameplay in the finale is just you have to press 4 buttons and then you're done. Of course the gameplay is you have to defeat a bunch of turrets and solve puzzles, but the goal is still to just press buttons. You defeat Sterling by pressing 4 buttons, which was just really funny and ridiculous to me, so I wrote a bunch of dialogue about the buttons, and that connected back to the very beginning of the game, where Sterling is like testing if you have brain damage by making you press a button, right? And then the button to activate the spire, that Sterling thought that there was a big difficult puzzle you had to solve. In the end you were just pressing a button. So all of this button commentary was just put up to 11 in the dialogue here, and then he's getting really upset at you for loving buttons so much and stuff, and then the giggle of Sarah made.
Lamp shading for the win.
Sarah, did you see the video where someone called Conley their waifu?
Yeah, you put this in the dev chat, like, it was really early on, and I was like, iconic. It's really gorgeous. The thumbnail.
The thumbnail, yeah. It's also sort of best moments. In making a puzzle that gets longer and longer is actually quite difficult, because it's difficult to reset the player, right? Because the player actually ports themselves onto here, and we somehow have to force them to go back to the beginning. And there was some very careful positioning of walls and portal surface, so you couldn't get back here or here, right? Which is why this is so enclosed in glass everywhere, so you can't portal directly in there. So the only way to go from here is to portal over there. It was very careful placement. Oh yeah, I have to get the cube. Also, I forgot to comment. I'm not doing that. forgot to comment about the previous dialogue where Sterling is talking that Conley abandoned him. In the ending, right? Because Revolution, there are no characters that are black and white, good or bad. Everyone has just different goals and experiences and stuff, which I find those stories to be the most interesting. There is a place for sort of Lord Sidious-like evil characters, which are just more of a force of nature than a character. But for that, you need to have this, like, the story needs to be much more sort of this grandiose tragedy, whatever, right? Which Port Illusion just isn't. It's more of a comedy. And what I want to say, yeah, like the whole room. I don't know who had the idea to make Sterling a room bar and be built by Conley, but that was an idea that was so late. But we all
There
really
was
liked
so
it.
much rewriting going on. Like when I joined the project, even then it was just like, don't look at Act 3, Sarah, because we're rewriting the whole thing.
Yep. Because I didn't know who Conley was. I didn't know that character until you joined us. So only after you joined, I was able to find her voice and know who to write. Because most of the dialogue, right? I knew what the story points were, but most of the dialogue is just small talk, as I call it, right? Where we're not progressing the story. It's just you enter a test chamber, the voice in the sky says something, you exit the test chamber, you get another line of dialogue, and those you have to know the character that you're writing for that to work. I just didn't know who Conley was.
Yeah. Speaking of like a voice of the character, there was like in the first chamber, there's a bit. Sterling says something and Conley goes no, and I heard it just now, and I was like, that's the most Australian noise I've ever made.
Which one was it?
Oh gosh. I don't know. It was the first second button push, so chamber 2.
You mean control room 2 or like an actual chamber?
So in this finale section.
Oh yeah.
It is control room here. Where I just was.
Yes.
That's a list at the back.
Also, I just noticed but like the 3 chambers, the first one's orange, the second one's blue, and the third one is red, and it's like all 3 portal colors.
Yeah. And the final one
Amazing.
is Port Revolution color, right? And the first one is white.
Yeah, we went like aperture, standard. Portal color 1, portal color 2, portal color 3.
Also gel colors. But there's no red gel.
Yeah.
It's Port Revolution.
There's the chaos gel.
No. This was actually a suggestion from a playtester, because originally you would just place the red portal on the wall here and then funnel all the way over. But then the playtester suggested it would be much more satisfying to jump that, and I thought, yes, that's exactly what we're doing. This big jump. This gives much more energy.
It is a great jump. My brother, when he played this, I watched him play through the finale, and he looked up and saw the fan, and it was just like, will I die if I look at it, if I hit it? And I went, maybe. And he just looked me in the eyes, smiled, and like let himself like be taken all the way up and die.
I think you die, do you?
You do, yeah, you die.
Yeah.
You hit the fan.
So I
I
didn't
think there
have
was a
that.
period when you didn't die though.
Yeah, that was awkward. A lot of players overcomplicate this. They try to make like an infinite fling here, which is just never gonna work. What the hell am I? Yeah. The original intent was to have you make this maneuver, right? But then no player ever figured this out, so I made it that you could also just jump in here. This is the very finale, and a lot of players already lose a bunch of time figuring out those 3 puzzles. So I didn't want to make the final room as long. But it is barely red. I mean, it's got the red-orange fluid there, but yeah. Apart from that, it's not very red. Except for this here.
Did you miss? Yeah, the door is
That
red.
is red, yeah. Because that was one that we noticed their exit. So yeah, that's Portal Evolution, man.
You did it! Haha! Yes!
Yippee!
Yeah, she's actually
has-
fully animated again.
8 years has led to this very moment.
Yeah.
You did it. Shattered my dreams of rebuilding my home.
8 years of work for
Happy
this
now?
ending,
Proud
yeah.
of yourself?
Look,
You don't know how satisfying it is to make a credit sequence after 8 years of work.
I remember when I made that alpha credit sequence where I just took the video and I took the T1 Groom track and merged them together.
Yeah, that was the original
Yeah,
concept for Jared to know what I wanted.
we also want the best for Aperture, but we can't do that by reactivating GLaDOS. It's not right. You know what she did.
What's going on?
Oh my.
No!
Yeah, so
Particle
the
effects.
the particles. Yeah, so the idea is that the spire is destabilized and the fluid spreads everywhere, and the entire spire is getting teleported somewhere else. And the nice sound design from Jared. And that's the game.
Whoa.
It is music here is a remix of a song called Tevon Grown. My username online is like my gamer tag, whatever is Tevon, as it says here. And I've got so many credits here.
It's like just half the game.
It's very
to
Calm
you.
down, man.
it feels very self-indulgent, but all of these are true.
And then there's measly 2 things.
Yeah, you never went outside of Hammer.
Nah, I was pretty comfortable with when I did.
Which is fine, it's still greatly
I
appreciated.
mean, like when you're working on like a solo game as well, like you're just going to like credit sequence, just like
Me.
pages long, just like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such
so
a beautiful track.
It is
Sometimes
beautiful.
I listen to it. Sometimes I listen to this and the original T1 Grown one.
It is a mixture of Demon Groom, but then it transitions into another one, which I forgot the name of. I think it's called Yi. Y-E. Yeah, those were 2 tracks that Sreslon made.
Oh, hello, Will. You're a little late.
Who we got here? Will!
I just got off a plane. I'm sorry, guys.
Hi there, Will. You gotta send me your bank information. Slacking.
I made it just in time for credits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In time to see your. Wait, we've already gone past it.
We already passed yours.
Special thanks to Blender.
So much. Blender gets its own credit section because it's the MVP. Best tool ever made. It saved. It's so amazing. Playtesters. I think there's more playtesters whom I just can't name anymore because it's been 8 years. Right. But those were the notable ones. The translators. This was the most annoying thing ever. But every time a translator every time someone says, "Hey, I made a translation. Can you add it to the game?" I have to rerun this entire video again and upload it to Steam, which takes stupidly long because Blender is really slow at rendering just this stuff for some reason. Interactive experience, yeah.
Hi. Hello. I didn't think you ever told me your name, did you? Look, I'm recording this on the off chance that you actually survive. You were badly wounded in the eruption. I tried what I could, but I've never seen anything like it. I'm a neuroscientist, all right? My expertise starts and ends at brains, not bodies. Look, the best I can do right now is to put you in stasis. It might help you heal, but yeah, it's not looking good. I'm sorry. okay? I don't know what to do now. The spire's broken, so we're just stuck on the moon. I guess this is goodbye. For now. Just for now. Take care.
And then 7 years later, there was a sequel.
Only will return. And
I have almost a full
Evolution.
script in my head. We can make it any time we want, but
Revolution.
Write it down so you don't forget it in like 5 years. when we meet
Revolution.
back up
those
for
things don't
Revolution
exit your mind. Yeah, but whenever I watch the ending, it's so much more emotional for me because it's just, very personal.
2. Yeah, it marks the end.
Some
8 years of your life.
Yeah, some people said that we should move the end credit thing, the post credit, before the credits, which was the original way it was done. But I still want to stick with the way it is.
Yeah, I think it's more of an impact with it being after the credits.
Yeah, I wanted to have the feeling of anticipation and like sort of shock, like the credits and what happened before it, right? For you to then be wanting a post-credit scene that explains what's happening now. And also the whole...
2 kind of did the same thing as well.
Yes, and also the tone shift from the funny, comical Spire fight to this much more serious and sad and tragic ending works best with the music in between, with the credit scenes, for you to just sort of take it all in, reflect on everything that happened, right? Think, okay, this is the end of the game. And then you get a bit of a resolution. Also, you can't really exit the game. You have to alter for the game to skip that, because the menu is gone. So any player that didn't see the end credits, congratulations.
You've finally seen it. Yep, I definitely think it's a nice button, I think, to sort of end on. And, like, Stefan, you and I wrote that when it was, like, 3 a.m. for you. It was, like, the last thing we did.
Yeah, we were,
And you were
after the
so
recording,
tired.
we were, like, brainstorming, or was it after that? I think it wasn't. I don't remember. Yeah, we recorded a bunch of extra VOs really late in development.
Really, really late. We were like, oh, we need a thing afterwards. And like Monty was there and was like, you, me, and Monty in a chat being like, okay, what's this gonna be?
Yeah. And I'm satisfied with how it ended. And then the ending screen again with the same thing that we've seen so many times, but now the spire is gone. I think many players don't notice that the spire is
Whenever I
gone.
see this ending, whenever I see this menu screen, it makes me want to, just for fun, go back to the other maps where we saw the spire and just remove it. Like,
Why?
Like if you were to like revisit for fun, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to revisit those areas and see the spire just gone.
I mean, that's what we see here.
Well, yeah, but like in Lake, for example.
Oh, you mean other maps, not this one? Okay.
Like
yeah.
other maps where you see the spire, it's now gone,
Yep.
and it's just like wreckaged, like pipes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Stefan, while we've got Will here and we're still sort of like riffing a bit, do you want to very quickly talk finale with Sterling?
What about the
Like,
finale?
just sort of- It's like, well, while we've got Will here and we're still kind of it's still sort of fresh in the mind, Will recording that like the pit monologue.
Well, you mean the monologue about like jumping?
Where he's telling you to kill him.
Yeah, like the long things about like any highlights for you, Will, in those finale lines that you remember?
Will even still here?
He's here, it's just
I
saying
think
anything.
he was muted just before. He's gone off of mute.
Will speaketh.
Big man. He's trying.
He's trying. His little voice
maybe not.
processor is trying really hard.
Something's broken.
The Spire explosion did a number on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've truly come full circle, and Conley's the only one who remains.
You don't hear me
Sterling
now?
didn't survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freeze! Yay!
Yay! Oh god, I was saying so much before that. I thought you were just like talking like alongside me.
Happens to the best of us.
I'm
Say it
sorry.
again.
Where were we at? Talking about the finale. You know, it was nice letting that be like one of the moments where we got to record at the same time. You know, I think that brought out some nice bits of the performance, just talking out like over each other. And yeah, I mean, like that whole monologue that I feel like most people didn't get to actually experience. The I'm gonna
full
kill you.
story.
Oh yeah. I mean that was definitely fun to do. But I don't know, man. That whole ending finale was so much fun to record.
Yeah, we were saying the standout line. Oh, Stefan, what did you say your favorite line from Sterling in that whole thing was? The one about there's the clicky clacky buttons, but there was a different one.
That seemed to resonate with a lot of people. Yeah.
The one about the satisfying click sounds and tactile feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know which my favorite Sterling line is, honestly. It's, when you write this stuff, it's obviously want everything to be good. But yeah, some things just that's just like a personal joke, right? The tactile feedback.
Oh yeah. You really locked into the audience, and like, because that's like one line I keep hearing people refer to, being like, "Man, that really spoke to me on a deep level, right there."
Really, I never see that mentioned too often.
No, I hear it constantly mentioned.
Really, I just know that there was one group of people that was really upset at that line and thought that we were somehow like laughing about
Like ableism.
Yeah,
Disability or whatever. Like
laughing about autistic people or something. I have no idea what that is about. It's just it's just Sterling
because
being
it's just
an
a
ass.
joke about it's just well, it's also just like a joke about like clicky keyboards or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for
Keyboards and like gamers in general.
yeah, it was for sure. I mean, like in universe, it's just Sterling being annoyed that you defeat him with pressing buttons, right? The way I wrote it, it's just a funny line about mechanical keyboards, because I have one, and I fell into that pit because of Rory, and I spent way too much time and effort making my Aperture keyboard. But it was never like, I don't know how people can read that out of it. Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, some good lines across the board there. My personal favorite is just screaming at you that I'm not talking to you.
That is that is funny.
Just one of those things that you can really only pull out when you record together.
It is so true. I mean, it didn't even take that many attempts to record that, right? Like normally, we sometimes record 50 takes of a line because it just doesn't work. But this was like third, fourth take or what?
Yeah, we didn't re-record a whole lot for the finale. It was a little magic moment.
Yeah, which honestly surprised me. I thought it would be much harder because, like, the Discord delay and everything, it's still really, like, the connection is still not fully there, I feel like, as if you were seeing each other face to face and could, like, act out the emotions properly. But I was completely, wrong, I guess, which is nice. Any headcanons for what happens to Sterling? What happened to him? Where he is?
Stefan, what do you think happened to Sterling?
Look, whenever I say anything, there is no canon, so I'm not saying anything.
Well, technically, we kind of know what happened to Sterling, but I
mean, I have an idea of what happens to him, but any fan theories from?
I mean,
he's just like can you imagine? Because like Wheatley's near the moon as well. Can you imagine how annoying that dialogue would be? Baseball and Wheatley and Sterling just together.
We don't want to hear that, I think.
Connie would just go mad.
I think that's prime material for a sequel. No gameplay elements, just hearing three cores talking to each other, floating in a vacuum. I think we're on to something.
That sounds fun to write.
Oh yeah.
Vacuum in a vacuum.
Bravo! There we did it. We did it. We found the line right there.
That's it.
Bravo.
Stop the stream. We've done it. It's over.
Go and drop the mic now.
I need that to Trello.
No one will ever top that.
Let's see. Someone's like, oh yeah, just a room where all the cores talk together. Yeah. I mean, I think so. It's a nice. I think we need to have like a family therapy session. That's what's needed.
That is very true. Yeah, the thing that I sort of wish I could have done more in this mod is to just have those two characters interact more together, because we only really see them together at the very end of the mod, where there's just so much interesting character development that happens so late. Which again, I just couldn't find a way to get them to talk to each other.
Maybe if we do like
first.
the definitive edition and expand A4, we could have some section where they just talk more.
I would reserve that for a sequel potentially.
That's true.
That definitive
Yeah.
edition pitch is mainly just about updating puzzles.
Yeah.
To have a better difficulty curve, because it sometimes just goes up and down in wild ways. But yeah, the sequel question, guys. We've got a lot of people here.
It started out with a
No,
J.J.
no.
Abrams Star Wars. Somehow Sterling returned.
yeah, you should do that. Somehow Sterling returned.
Oh my god. And Conley has Atlas's body. Oh my god, no, it's the co-op version. It's co-op, Portal co-op, but it's just instead of Atlas and Peabody, it's Sterling and Conley, and they're just talking the whole time.
I had the idea that the sequel would be only co-op with Kate and Conley on the moon. But I think that's not
They
gonna
just
happen.
roll around.
Not just co-op, like
No, guys.
she
Yeah,
gets her arms.
I think it would be funnier if they just roll around. You know,
Yeah.
Sometimes you can find a rail.
Kate is the name of the player.
We went through a lot of names internally, though. I feel like we gotta decide what. I thought a few names had been thrown out.
I came up with that name when I was 13 years old and stuck with it ever since.
Oh man!
Kind of named it after my sister. She's called Catherine, but in a more German way. Katharina. Kind of named it after her.
Oh yeah. Remind me, what was
like a
what
co-op,
was
like a fully
name
co-op one would
before?
be.
Sorry, what?
What was my original name again?
Pete.
Now before Sterling it was Pete.
Pete, that's
P-E-A-T.
right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yep.
And you were green.
Fire Knight, I've seen your comment. You're spamming it a lot.
Yep, I've told him to. He's gonna ask in the Discord.
Yeah. The thing
We're
is
very good
that is just such a broad question. Like, I don't know what tips I could give. The thing I would say is focus on gameplay first. A lot of modders approach the mods with story in mind only, and I've never seen a single mod that starts this way actually come to fruition. Games are about gameplay, so you know that is important. Don't make your logos or hype up people on ModDB or whatever before you've just got a game. Just make a game, right? It's basically my tip.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well,
Also know what you're getting into because Steven spent 7 years doing this. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
think something's going to take 1 year, it's going to take 4 years. If you think it's going to take 4 years, it's going to take 10 years.
Yep.
Write that down, everybody.
I mean, this game
That's
could
a
have
classic
taken another
gaming
year
problem.
and been even better, but you have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy with how it turned out.
My favorite comment about that is like I had an old English teacher of mine was like, you know what? There's only so much editing. There's only so much you can polish a turd until you're just poking around shit. You know, like just leave it alone.
That's a good
Calling
line.
the game a turd, but sure.
Look, you're always gonna see what's wrong with it.
Yeah, and also, yeah, it's better that it exists. That is the most important thing. It's done, right? And I'm really proud of what we accomplished here. I think it's still, like, from my view, the best Portal 2 mod that there is. Simply from a checklist of features, it's the most complex and involved. And yeah. Any questions? We can do Q&A if people have questions.
Yeah.
I mean, we
There's
just
a
doing Q&A all
question
the
there
time.
about thoughts about the tools you used. It looks like you basically did the entire thing in Hammer, which you pretty much did.
They think you're insane.
Hammer is the only editor there is, so yeah, I can show you these maps in Hammer if you want. Like, let's look at that background here. It's in Stage. All these map files should be available.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the same map here, which with everything removed, like Ace is really good at pruning everything that's
Yeah.
not needed.
Yeah, you should see what I did for like the A3's background. There's so much is gone.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Moon
stuff
just
going
up
here.
there.
Moon, yeah. Such is this.
Zoom all the way in.
Oh my god. Well, the Earth isn't flat, but the moon is.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that. It's the flat moon theory.
I have to get going now.
Alright, thanks, Jared.
Yeah, see y'all.
See ya.
Catch you around, man.
Let's open the finale map, because this one is a mess. No one understands his logic but
It's
me.
a beautiful mess. All those little triggers everywhere.
Yeah, like here, this is this vista here, which is way bigger than you probably think, where you see the destroyed spire, and there is the Earth up there. And look at it.
Oh my god, the Earth is flat.
It's a card. It's just a texture.
Oh my god.
The Earth is flat, but it's also a JPEG.
It's all it's a VMT. It's a VTF.
It's also portable. I
VTF,
believe.
sorry.
Conspiracy theorists kept missing out on. They didn't see the whole picture.
Literally the whole
Didn't
It's
VTF.
port level.
Oh, the whole JPEG picture.
Yeah, this map is. I mean, it doesn't look that terrible here, but it's just so many relays and choreo scenes everywhere. With it could be worse, but I always try to keep things simple, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, looking around this map, this whole gameplay system, you kept it really simple, Stefan. You know, to get a clone going. Yeah, you just made it real easy on yourself, didn't you?
Look, maps can look much worse than this. Okay, most of our maps look like this.
Well, like A2 N2 was like, and there's a bug in that still that I don't even want to touch because I don't want to touch the logic in that.
Oh god, that map is insane.
Because apparently there's been this outstanding bug where if you leave the cube in the pod and then throw yourself down the incinerator, the pod doors will close, effectively trapping yourself. And I don't know how to fix that, and I
Awesome.
don't really want to touch the map.
And usually our maps look like this, with just brushes absolutely everywhere, clipping inside each other, and you can't even see anything. That's what you have to do. How do you manage to optimize these? For performance,
Black
in-game,
magic.
or black magic? In-game performance and compile time performance are two different things. Often, you can improve compile time performance and hurt in-game performance massively. A lot of people think that like they just func detail everything, or way too much stuff. Func detailing almost never improves runtime performance. It's just there for the compiler to not make stupid whiz-leaves. And sure, maybe on old systems, stupid amounts of whiz-leaves could have slowed things down, but not today. It just improves compiling performance, which is something I always have to teach people. Ace.
What?
Calling you out.
Alright, so I was reading chat. What did you say about me?
Your func detailing behavior.
Okay, well, look, I've gotten better at it.
Good. Oh god.
I remember
Yeah.
the really cool system I did here that you so ruthlessly tore it out.
Ruthlessly. Look, I tried everything to still have it here, but it just didn't work. It just was so buggy. Yeah. Performance, I mean, as long as you just don't render too much stuff at the same time, your performance is fine, right? There are, basically, you can have two nice things, is what I sort of go by. And a nice thing is things like a large room with many like polygons on screen. Another nice thing is projected textures. Another nice thing is real-time reflective water, or a sunlight, like the Cascade Shadow maps. You can only have two of them, basically, right? If you add a third, then you're getting into trouble. So yeah, for these, we've got the sunlight and a lot of props, so performance is fine. If I were to add real-time reflective water into here and then also projected textures shining over, then performance would kind of be worse. Also, refract is incredibly performance heavy for some reason, especially on larger resolutions. I had to go through so many maps and remove refractive surfaces because they just tank performance on 4K. Hint textures are an optimization tool. They split viz leaves in half. It's very technical stuff. I'm not gonna go into it right now. A to end 2, yeah. This is a gigantic one. No, A to end 1 is the one I'm thinking of. Shit.
Wait, to choose the yeah.
Yeah, this is A to end 2. It's
Oh,
the spire.
Remember when I put in all that like detail in the chamber one, portal 1 chamber that no one's seen?
Yeah. Yeah, this was also a nice, like previously we had all of these open, so we had to basically copy paste the contents that we have in the fight back into here. That was annoying, and then I added these blinds because I thought it would be a nice effect to like have everything closed, and then you know that this is not where you have to go, right? So you see these blinds open, you have to go to here. Was just a nice way to guide the player, and that meant that in this map I could have all of the blinds closed and just remove any of the stuff back here, so that saved so much unnecessary development time. And also it was just better here because you would not focus on, oh, look at the things that are in there, what, you know, you just, it would be less distracting. Yeah, the overgrown chamber here. I mean, we both spent way too much time on this, because the player only spent so little time here, and I over-decorated the shit out of this.
Remember, did I ever tell you about I assume I told you about the radio I put in here, right?
Yeah, there's a radio down here where there's in Portal 1.
Yeah, no one gets down here in time to see it.
You can never see this. you can't walk down here quickly enough. But it's there. And also this
It's there for those who no clip.
this here can turn on. Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
whole thing is an instance. This even sparks, my god. Yeah.
Put a lot of detail into this. One scene that you went for like no more than 20 seconds.
Yep.
So, some questions. Let's see. What are hint textures? That feels like
I
a
already
basic hammer thing. Okay.
I tried to answer that, but it's very technical, so I'm not going into it. Because first you need
There's
to understand how
tutorials for
BSP and
stuff.
BizLeafs work. Yeah, there's a great tutorial. I have a playlist called Portal Modding something something on my YouTube channel. In there, there's a tutorial about BizLeafs. So watch that. It's a great video.
Someone's asking about images of Kate's model for drawing reference. The only images I've seen of it are the incredibly cursed ones from early development that Monty made, where she's got like no eyes.
You can just you can just view it in the model editor.
Yeah, you can download the
Oh,
tools
good.
and look at shell. It's still called shell in the game, because that's just what the game loads. But yeah, God, the shaders don't look good though. They're black here. The transparency doesn't work in the editor. But yeah,
Got
Monty did such
cyberpunk
a
eyeliner on.
Monty did such a good job on the texturing here and the materials and all. Look at the
Yeah, so good.
getting this to work in Source is not easy, and the hexagon pattern is just such a nice touch. Yeah, it continues to amaze me, the models that Monty made, because this was like, he basically didn't have any modeling experience before joining, like even when he joined Revolution, like he learned everything just basically to make Revolution, you know. He learned everything as he went. It's his first character he ever made, and I think it's fantastic.
Crazy.
It's an insanely good model.
It is. Yeah. Very
The
impressive.
dirt detailing is really nice, especially because like there are a lot of sections where you walk through water, and that having that like detailing around like the knees seems really good.
Yep, it's so cool. It's also just interesting because we wanted to have the player actually be like a normal test subject with like the proper jumpsuit on and everything, but we didn't just want to copy what Portal 1 had. So we thought of, what could we do to make it a bit more special, and this sort of like rubbery sort of wetsuit almost just worked nicely to sort of emphasize you're an advanced test subject who's done this stuff before. You get some nicer gear, maybe you get a better suit, right? That is maybe a bit more acid proof or whatever. Who knows? That was sort of the design goal with that, to visually show that you have a better suit than Shell had.
Yes, she's had to go through fewer showers after Fizzler interactions.
Yeah. Yeah, this is how this map's normal look. This map is gigantic. I think I've shown this so many times
It's
before. but-
massive. It's a nightmare to compile this map.
Yeah, it takes 10 minutes on my computer.
It's like if you've ever wanted to do like a single change, like a wide range of changes, and you have to compile the whole map just to test it.
Yep. This really ballooned out of size because the original goal was just you get to the sunset, and then the bridge would actually be here, not over there, right?
Yeah.
But then, just because I thought, well, the lighting looks bad from here because there's no sunlight. Because of that lighting issue, I moved the bridge over here, and then I had to come up with stuff to get you from here to there. And at the same time, I had the idea of the power breakers, which I thought was such a phenomenal idea, but I got it so late in development that we couldn't really add proper chambers for that. And I thought, well, I need to have something in here. And also, that isn't really an intended test element, right? It's more of a sequence break sort of thing. You're not solving chambers as Aperture wants you to solve them. So I thought, let's have... It fits nicely that here you're escaping the test chambers with Sterling, and just need to get through these test chambers because they're roadblocks. So it turned out really phenomenally, I think. These little connector areas are a bit too long for my liking, but players never seem to complain, which is good. I'm just always thinking the player needs to be entertained every single second. But I guess graphics can sometimes be enough. Oh yeah, the broken glass is fun. Internal parties. Like a launch party. We didn't really have a launch party somehow. Yeah. We couldn't really all get together at the same time. I mean, a lot of us were on the voice channel when we
it was like
released this.
You, me, and Monty.
It wasn't a lot of people, yeah.
We were in a voice call.
Pretty sure I was there when.
I think you were there when I pressed the green button and Steam.
Yeah.
Press the green button.
That's the one.
General chat went crazy.
That green button is what every developer works towards, to get that and push it. It's the most satisfying button ever, which, it's even more satisfying than the one in Revolution that you press, where Conley says it's satisfying button.
One satisfying button. Alright, and speaking of buttons, I'm gonna wander off and have breakfast, because it's officially breakfast time. There are a bunch of questions coming in for you, Stefan, and they're all programming things. So I'm gonna wander off.
They're not.
It was lovely to be with you.
Are a trooper.
You're really a trooper, yeah. You wake up at 4 in the morning for this. My God.
4 in the morning.
Thanks so much,
It's
Sarah.
alright, it's Sunday
been
and I have
awesome.
nothing to do today.
Yeah. We should talk again about maybe re-recording some voice lines for Definitive Edition.
No worries. Yes, we'll talk when that happens.
Yeah.
I will catch you all around.
Bye, Sarah.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, yeah, this map is massive from above. It's ridiculous. Also just so dense, right? There's stuff everywhere. One of the things that I also really wish we could have done is this chamber was originally meant to have the shallow sunset lighting stream in through the ceiling, and that could have looked so amazing. But because we have all of this stuff over here blocking the sunlight, it just didn't work. And I tried to cheat with putting a skybox like right here. So basically we just ignore the stuff and just still have a sun. It looked wrong in the map, and the engine didn't like it because it didn't allow my cheat. So that just didn't work, which is such a shame. It still looks good as it is, but that was a missed opportunity that I wish could have done. I love this random texture. This is the stage where I started watching a lot of Ian Hubert and just got comfortable putting random textures everywhere. Somebody, ever used the perpetual? So you mean a puzzle maker? I don't use puzzle maker for my chambers.
We used the puzzle maker for like 2 maps, and then that was it.
Yeah, I used it for 3 maps, I think. Now Portal 2. If I go to my workshop, they're uploaded but they're private. I could probably publish them. Files are posted. Yeah, here. BTS Chambers, Catapult Intro, and if A1 Final
test. Yeah, the final puzzle.
Those were made in Puzzle Maker, but that's long ago. It's 2019.
That's a really ancient one.
Yeah, and those worked because they just use Portal 2 elements, right? I mean, these use the monoportal, which does exist as an entity in BMod, so I was able to use that. But even then, I moved away from using Puzzle Maker and just made puzzles in Hammer. First of all, the compile times are ridiculous in Puzzle Maker. They take forever, so iteration is really slow. The benefit that you have is that you can move stuff around quickly, right? But in my workflow, I've just gotten so fast at Hammer that I can just iterate quicker in Hammer than I can in Puzzle Maker. And then also, I don't have to rebuild the map in Hammer because you have to rebuild it anyway. So I just build it in Hammer right away. It also has the benefit that I don't lock myself to this Puzzle Maker grid and like aligning things in these ways, right? Even when I then rebuilt these in Hammer, I tried to make weird sizes and shapes and change things up so they don't look so rigid and grid-like, which is really difficult. Yeah, and then later, you know, when we have the numeric diversity events, they just don't exist in Puzzle Maker, not even in BMod. You just can't make them. So, yeah, it just became unviable basically. But it was never a problem, because you know, once you get to a certain speed at mapping, you can just iterate quicker in Hammer. Also, I showed this before, but the way I made these puzzles is I didn't put in any walls. I just put in a floor. Where is it? What the hell? I think I have a strange cordon. Oh, I have no draw disabled. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I just put in a floor. I put the texture there right away. Then I just place my buttons or whatever, right? I don't connect them with end lines until I'm sure about the design. And this is something that is, like, without any walls, the player can just fall down and get stuck, right? You can just tell your playtesters, it's a very early skeleton map. Just don't get stuck intentionally, right? I'm not testing for that, I'm just testing for the puzzle. So do that for me. And that works, right? You can just do that. And this way you can easily move stuff around. You can just, you know, change the shape of things. And then you can also already think about where you can place sort of key decoration elements, is what I always, like whenever I make a puzzle, I sometimes approach them from a visual standpoint, and right, I always have an interesting shape in mind for a puzzle. Lighting on a box looks wrong here. I mean, this is some rim lighting here, basically. It's just very edgy, because edgy. It just got a lot of edges because it's just bad rendering in Source Engine. I honestly had too little playtesting, I think. Basically, just people I really trusted and knew and liked, right? So initially it was mainly just friends, some family.
That's always the thing, because you want to, like, obviously there's an innate sense to get people you trust, because then the likelihood of like the project leaking is quite minimized.
Massive risk in portal modding. It's such a toxic community. Yeah. It can be such a toxic community at times, with people joining mods just to leak stuff. So I have to be very careful with that sort of stuff. Yeah, but yeah, there is also the problem that if you just get family or like friends, then their sum is too nice. But I didn't really have that problem, especially with friends. And also, it doesn't, like, I don't care about what you say. I never really listen to the player feedback that they give me. I mean, of course, I listen to it, but that is not at all as important as just watching someone play and seeing them not see that event, right? They don't see that the spire is erupting above them. That is much more important, just passive observation, and then thinking about ways to improve that. Like, for example, in Lake, one problem we had, if you like. Love this flashing. Blink, 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 blink. It's very seizure-inducing, very therapeutic. It's sort of like an advertisement. Buy stuff. Consume. It's the same vibe to it. Yeah, so in Lake here, there was this door was on this height here. So you would come out, and these barriers didn't exist. They were much, much shorter. So players would just go in here, immediately turn around to walk over here, And then you hear the audio and stuff, but you don't see anything. You don't see that the spire up here is erupting and everything. So to fix that sort of stuff, I first moved. As first I added some more railings, but this later railing wasn't there. So then players would exit here, and then they would have to look forward for much longer. They wouldn't turn up to the right immediately, and then they would hopefully see the stuff falling from up here. I then also added the little staircase so that when you exit, you would walk up, like you would look up, because obviously it's a staircase. You look up, and then you would see this maybe a bit more prominently as well. And then finally, just to get everyone to look at this, added this little last barrier that it falls over for you to not even think about leaving, right? But all of these little decisions, they help with getting people to notice stuff, and that's the thing that you already noticed in playtesting, right? Because it was really obvious, so many players that they just left, immediately looked right, and just didn't even see that there was anything up there. Also, the geometry of this was much different. All of this poked out much further, so you couldn't even see the spire when you were standing here. You would have to like move all the way to the end to see it. That was also one of the things. Yeah, very subtle things. Gameplay, puzzle, and visuals. Yeah, I mean, they all interact together, right? They all benefit from each other. The puzzle can become easier or more understandable with good visuals. Like, for example, indicator lights are very functional, but also aesthetic, aesthetically nice, right? And if you forget about them or for whatever because you think, oh, they look so ugly, then the functionality suffers from it. Or also just the placement of things, right? If you have a button and something else, and the indicator lights, they cross over, it's ugly, but it's also got bad gameplay because you don't know what happens to that. They both coexist, right? Visuals and gameplay.
It seems like the questions are drying up.
Yep.
Might be.
Oh, well, I've got a question for you.
Ooh.
You here?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, when did I get you on a team again? I think it was like 2020, 2021.
Yeah, you got me on a team in 2021. I was trying to mess around with the voice acting on my own, and I came across a site that you posted on, and it was the one and only time I went to. It was the only time I've ever used this website before or since then.
Same.
And I just come across your post. And yeah, and I sent you an audition. And you're like, yeah, this is cool. Can you turn like the Elmo voice down like a few pegs, please? I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. Can you sound like more of a human being possibly? Otherwise, it sounds good. And yeah, I don't know if we perfectly found that balance with Sterling's squeaky voice, but you know what? Hey, we made progress along the way.
It's a very tough balance because it's very iconic, but also sometimes can be over the top.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's great that we had Sarah to kind of balance things out for sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't make a beta recreation. Very simple. Don't waste your time on that. The thing with beta is it's always so, like, your mind can make up a better picture than any game could, right? So you see these screenshots and you make up the story in your head, and that will always be better. It's like why reading is so powerful, because you create these images. It makes no sense to put it into... I mean, you can do it, sure, but I'm not wasting my time with that. If I'm making another project, it will be Port Revolution 2. So
here's an option. Instead of making the beta, make something original and creative and unique.
That's what I'm meaning, right?
'Cause
Put your time into
beta's
something
been done
new.
to death at this point, and all of the projects has ever done it have effectively died.
The thing is, I recreated beta in Port Revolution, a ton of beta.
Yeah.
Port Revolution is basically all of the beta, like, right? We've got so many concept arts that we rebuild.
Well, it's like recreated
The
beta
cut
areas,
elements.
but not like but it's not like a beta like mod. Like it's not like recreating Portal 2's beta. It just has beta elements from Portal 2.
We've got all of the gameplay elements that we cut. That is beta. We've got it in the pneumatic diversity events and the showing us cubes.
Yeah,
those are
you know
those are
what I mean.
beta.
We're not like trying to recreate f-stop yet, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, just we are reviving beta, right? But
Yeah.
it isn't that we're
And like
trying
the only acceptable way.
to create something that Valve would
Yeah.
have done. We're making our own thing with it. I mean, look at this. This is basically a recreation of one beta screenshot. But we made our own thing out of it, right? But it was totally inspired by the beta screenshot. Or also the recreation of the Portal 1 chamber in Overgrown. That was a recreation of a beta screenshot from Portal concept art.
It seems like the way that the Valve community kind of approaches beta content is a little strange.
It's pretty
Because, like,
religious.
because it's always assumed that, like, oh, this thing that was cut is automatically, like, because they don't see all, like, the testing that went into, like, oh, whether that content was good, whether it fit with the gameplay or not, like, for instance, like, the Cremator is a really cool design, and everybody who looks at that concept is like, damn, that is a really cool-looking enemy. But it was clear that Valve just, when they were playtesting the game, it just wasn't something that fit in their vision for Half-Life 2. And the game was probably better for it being cut. Like, even if... And there are a lot of other instances where people try to bring back, like, beta content, and then they end up realizing why Valve cut it in the first place.
I realized why they cut the pneumatic diversity events. It's really hard to make anything with that isn't just sucking up turrets.
Yeah.
But then when I added the gel interaction, it just becomes so much more powerful. Because there's nothing else that can interact with gels the way that the pneumatic diversity events can, right? There's nothing that can... I mean, you can use tractor beams, but a tractor beam can never output the gel unless you
A tractor
drop
beam
it.
can't really fling anything
Yeah.
unless you drop it.
And also it can output it. It can only go into a wall or something, right? You can't have it just shoot somewhere else unless you remove the tractor beam yourself. So the pneumatic diversity event is very unique in that it can move gels in any sort of way, which is just something that nothing can do. But you know, you can use a catapult to move cubes, for example, or the player. So in that regard, it's not very interesting. But with the gels, it should become so much more interesting. But yeah, Will, how is it to work on a project as a voice actor for years? I mean, that isn't standard, right?
Oh, it's not standard, but I mean, look, it was a process. You know, we're changing story elements up. We're finding a lot of what's working, not working. You know, there are some lines that, as I said, I can just, you know, are just forever burned into my mind.
Say one.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know if I can deliver one off the top of my head. If you give me one, I might be able to summon it, but we'll see.
Wait, I have one. The line where you first meet Sterling face to face.
Congratulations! You did it! Oh my gosh! Wait, what the hell was I thinking? God, what? It Suddenly, I completely forgot it. Yeah, I'm like,
We changed it 3 times, so I'm not blaming you.
anyone out there, literally the first, like one of the biggest lines in it. I'm just like, oh, I don't know.
Like, we changed it so much.
We have,
And I reanimated it so many times.
It's like, we have to get you registered as an Aperture employee. Follow me. You know, I mean, it's like there's like certain things that kind of like
Yeah.
repeat through it, but yeah, we had a lot of variations, like the whole fact that I was supposed to be in Act 3, which I think was a good decision to swap that out. And yeah, but I mean, like it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, like it was a really good time, like working on this. Like it was just very easy to get invested in something like this when it was clear just how much effort was coming from the rest of the team. There are like, it is, if you are trying to do voice acting and you're like starting out by seeking out like, you know, mods, internet projects, things that you would typically find on these types of posts, you just throw a rock and you will find something that is going to be dead within a matter of like 2 weeks. Things where it's like, oh, I got a great story and maybe I know a little bit of coding, but it's going to completely fizzle out. It's like, oh, don't worry, guys. I set up a Kickstarter page. We're going to hit $100,000 and we're going to make this game. Like, no, man, no. It's like you guys knew what you were doing, and if you didn't know what you were doing, in the case of like some people picking up new skills, you quickly figured it out, and you know, excelled. It was it was like a real like treat to work on with you guys because y'all just knew how to deliver excellence on every level, and the fact that this turned out to be a free mod in the end with such a high level of quality is just something I'm sure it was just constantly recognized by everybody. So it was I so enjoyed working on it.
That's so great to hear. I was always so unsure, right? Because normally you get the voice actors way at the end when you've written all the script. I came to you with like no script. I said, hey, okay, great to have you. I'm writing this now. Time to let's go. And then we're re-recording the same bits of dialogue like 3 times or so. And I just felt so bad for that. But you were just such a good sport with that. You always were so passionate and didn't just want to do stuff for the money, for the job, whatever. Right.
You know me, I'm always out for the money, right?
Yeah, because obviously it's like unpaid work over years.
Oh no! I mean, like, look, it's one of those it's one of those things that you like. I feel like this definitely speaks to every department of this game. Like, you don't get into it because you're looking for like a certain salary in life. You're like, man, this is just something I really enjoy doing as like a hobby. I'd like to push it forward a bit, and obviously you guys have been working years to get to like a certain level of proficiency, and it absolutely paid off with a product like this.
I think that's also something that I would tell any aspiring game or mod developer if you're looking to get a team. Is to first you have to put in some amount of work to prove yourself, right? To prove that you're taking this seriously. This is something that people can invest time in, that won't be cut in a month, that won't be dead soon, that to make people feel like they want to be part of this. That has been something that I only noticed afterwards, after talking to Will about this stuff. Like, why do you stick? What do we do differently? And you said like that you could just tell that we were incredibly passionate, and I still don't understand what I really what publicly we did differently than other people, because I know that I am eternally passionate, right? But
I just like across the board. I mean, like it's really easy to overlook simple things. It's like consistency, like meetings every single week at this time, even if it fluctuates a little bit from time to time. Just like having a sense of order to it all. And like a vision and a direction and people who know how to execute. That all sounds like obvious things to make a project happen. But the moment you take like one of those away, it just so quickly falls apart. And that is something that so many things across the board, and someone who like comes from a creative field like myself, sees consistently. Like it's just there was just like a whether or not y'all want to recognize it, there was just like a very good sense of like organization and vision to you guys. Y'all collaborated well. Y'all like were very like open about like what was working, what not working, and like you knew how to solve your problems, and like you knew how to deliver.
But you don't see that from the outside. You only know that once you're in, right?
Exactly. I mean,
but how could someone project that to the outside to show that, you know, hey, join my mod, and not just trust me, I'm gonna show you how good we are.
I mean, you need to be surrounded. I mean, you can speak to this as well, because so many of y'all came together before I hopped on board. But I mean, you need to be assembling like a like-minded team, and you need to be realistic about expectations. Like so many, again, referring back to like these other types of projects that would just fail like right off the bat. It's like, oh yeah, we're expecting this kind of profit. We're expecting this level of proficiency. It's like expectations should just always be in check. Don't be like promising what the expectations are. Just like have like a very clear, defined, realistic vision of what you want to achieve, a realistic time frame on how to deliver on that, because all of you were doing this in your spare time, whether you were in school or had like jobs on the side. This was something you did when you had like time to do it, which is again where so many things fall apart. It's a side gig, and you managed to make something great out of it. So like in a lot of cases, this is not going to be a a full-time job. If you're just starting out, this is probably going to have to be like a passion project sort of thing. But I think Revolution is a clear example that like if you really surround yourself with people who understand your vision and know how to achieve it, and give yourself a realistic amount of time to like get there, then great. Like y'all were not seeing the end of this as like, oh man, we're gonna make so much money off of this. Like, no, y'all were like, we hope that people enjoy it. We think we're gonna make a good product at the end of this. We hope we're gonna make a good experience, a good story, a good gameplay experience. And that, I don't know. I think that's what separated you guys. That was a long, rambling answer, but
I think, I mean, it's a good point. I don't even, because I never really had experience working in like on a creative project that wasn't my own. I always sort of, saw those things as standard, right? But yeah, I don't think we even talked about expectations of players who will play this, or how many eyes you will get on your voice performance or something, which is why I'm now sort of advertising to lure you into this project or something. It was always just, we're making a project, this is the project, you want to be a part of it, come join us.
Yeah.
I feel like,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen a Portal mod that does what I just said, but yeah, I think that that just shows that it's more about we're all doing fun. It is very much a people thing, right? You need to get the right people together. I don't really want to talk too much about the old voice actress for Conley, but between us it just didn't really work out, and I had a sort of a weird feeling from the beginning.
Well, I mean, you did a smart thing with Sarah, which was she came in, and the personality that she brought to the voice, you kind of riffed off that and built on that. I mean, not saying that Connolly is just 100% Sarah, but like, Connolly was kind of like, in some ways, like a little bit ill-defined personality-wise until she came in. And just from her delivery and voice alone, it was just kind of like very clear what that character was going to be. And I think that was like a huge help on the writing side for you.
Yeah, I was so stuck writing Conley. I had no idea how to write her. She was much more serious and sort of tragic. This tragic character that is now trapped in a robot, right? But then Sarah came along and she was just so energetic and lovely and fun that I just completely changed that character and rewrote all of the dialogue. I mean, there was barely any dialogue. There were story points, but dialogue, like lines actually spoken, it's very different.
Yeah.
All you hear is Sterling talking. It's very interesting, right? Because when you work with a voice actor from the beginning, then you hear the voice as the person, right? But when you're just watching SpongeBob and suddenly the SpongeBob voice actor is talking, then that human is SpongeBob. But for me,
you hear something long enough, like you'll eventually hear, like you might hear me like join the chat. They're like, "Oh, Sterling's in here now." It's like, "Hey guys, what's up? How are you all doing?" I'm like, "That's Sterling." And the moment I start, passionately speaking, the voice squeaking starts coming out, and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh yeah, there's Sterling."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not not all that far from my normal speaking voice, as you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, your normal speaking voice isn't really Sterling, but when we are in recording and we are recording old VO, like we are re-recording it to like match it or whatever, and you say the line that I have heard 1,000,000 times in game, it's suddenly so weird. Because that is when the character and the human actually like sort of mesh together in a really strange way that just messes with my brain, where it sounds like you're just like playing the recording over the microphone because you're matching the old delivery exactly, perfectly. And I just find that so funny that you were always able to hit the exact same tone with re-recordings.
Oh yeah, man. There's like I said, it's hard to like pick exactly like where one of those lines would be, but some of them were just repeated so many times that it just yeah. Like suddenly you feel like you're doing like an imitation of your like previous recordings.
Someone asks, did you have the idea of the Spire at the time I started working on the mod? So in the beginning, the Spire was Aegis from Half-Life again. From Portal Stories Mel. You would use Aegis to put GLaDOS on the kill list. Because originally in Portal Revolution, you would try to kill GLaDOS, not revive her. But that was changed because it was just so... I thought it was pretty obvious, but players just didn't understand. Like, didn't we already kill her? Yeah, but she's still alive, and we know it, so let's kill her for real. Right, that was the original goal. But then that was changed. But yeah, the Spire came about after I played Half-Life Alyx, and I saw the Citadel, and really liked the sort of frameworky structure, and how it sort of had the cables going all around the City 17, and it would like steal resources to power itself. And that was the idea for the Spire. It would be this imposing structure with a teleporter in it, and it would have all of these cables and connections that would go into the central piece that would go from all the way from top to the bottom, like this huge structure that's just carving out its own sort of pathway in Aperture. That was the idea, yeah. I think it turned out really nicely. I'm happy with the look. Yeah. Is there anything else we can say, we can talk about?
No, I mean, just good job, everybody, and appreciate everybody who tuned in to hear us chat about this.
Have a nice day, y'all.
I hope we should actually do the proper dev commentary. We've put that aside for so long. I started writing a bit, but yeah, that would be a great opportunity for me to just rant about why I placed this slab here. Right? Why this cable is going this way and leads the way for you to follow.
That'll be our next reunion.
Yep.
Alright, see y'all.
Yeah,
All
thanks
right.
for joining us. That will be it. If you've got any questions, can obviously always just ask them on the Port Revolution Discord server or shoot us an email, whatever is better. Getting a surprising amount of emails still.
Really, I've got like nothing. I've got like 4 emails and that's it.
Oh, what emails did you get on your email? Because I don't know.
I got one about someone who really liked Revolution. Let me open up Gmail.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, we have our second phase software emails, which just redirect. Yeah, the hello at second phase software and the support, just, you know, those are much busier, of course.
Yeah, these are all the 4 emails I got. It's actually like 4 of which are just you setting up the email to make sure it works. And one from an actual person.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten much like on my personal inbox either. It was mainly just, you know, these things, they don't pay off immediately. They might pay off at some point. Because Port Revolution at the end of the day is a fun project that we did, and also, like, you know, even if this doesn't get us money, it's a portfolio piece. And I found a job in the games industry because of it. So yeah, I'm just so happy with how this all turned out. It's just really strange to be sitting at the end of this project and talking about the things we did, right? This will always just be strange.
Yeah.
It's followed me throughout my entire teenage life, and it's finally here, and it's... Yeah, I wonder... It's just strange not to work on this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm also not sure if there will be a sequel, because I have such cool ideas, but none of us will ever be in the in the stage of our life that we were to make this, right? Because all of us were in school during COVID.
Well,
we had
technically,
a
I'm
bunch
still
of
in
time.
school as well.
You're still in school, but you also were in school.
Yeah.
All of us were in school during COVID, where we had a lot more free time.
Yeah.
I would just crank this out, and there was an end goal aside and all this. But to repeat that now that, you know, we're becoming adults, starting our lives, you'll also be out of school at some point.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to making an original game. I've got a great prototype that I'm making. Working at Moon Studios, of course, but I'm also dabbling with my own things every now and then on the weekend. Just experimenting with other engines, basically. Alright then, so see y'all guys. Bye. Thanks for joining.
Bye.